Hello, we are live. Welcome everyone to the One More Cup of Coffee Genshin podcast. Yes, we are here. Um Give me 1 second, my audio is like looping and over on itself.
Oh,
Crazy.
oh no.
Okay. Um
Hello, everyone.
yeah, so
Thanks for having me.
I'm your host for today, Jside from the Genshin Guys podcast, but you can also call me Josh. Now, in this episode of One More Cup of Coffee, we will be joined by fellow Genshin content creator, Owlet. Should I call you Owlet? Owlet's good?
Owlet is fine, or Owl is all good.
Great, great. So, Owlet, before we get started, how are you doing today?
I'm so nervous.
Oh, don't be nervous. You're among friends.
Like I'm assuming this is like a similar thing to what happens if I stream. We just rant about lore and Genshin and yell about things, but for some reason I'm like, oh my god, heart beating.
No, no, it's because you're not in control. I am, right?
Oh
So,
no.
which is not a bad thing, I promise. So,
I trust you.
so
I trust you.
thank you. I know we just met, but please trust me with your life.
I
So,
will.
can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, what do you do? Can you tell us why you started making, like, why you do what you do? What about Genshin Impact do you love? What is your favorite aspect of the game? Let us know.
Oh, so many questions. About me, do you mean in terms of like or like just a general like who I am, I guess?
Okay, let's start with general who you are first.
Okay. Well, I am a piece of trash.
No.
um well, okay. I'm just a person chilling. I've gone back to school recently because some of my earlier education stuff hasn't worked out and whatnot, like career paths are question marks. So I'm currently actually, and have been for a while, just a barista. So the whole coffee part of this podcast was very attractive to me, and that's why I'm here
Hmm.
today.
Nice.
So that is kind of just what I do. I work in a little coffee shop. I am studying accounting right now, to hopefully find an easy job that pays me a lot of money, and that is my goal.
That is a very uh valiant goal to have, I guess.
That is the only thing. I had bigger dreams before. I was studying like criminology and like law and paralegal stuff, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a lawyer. I'm gonna be so cool. And I worked in law office for like a year as a receptionist slash assistant, and it gave me an aneurysm. And I'm like, no, I don't
Hmm.
think I can be in this profession anymore.
Hey, but that's like really good that you're self-aware enough to know what you need to
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's
So
great.
yeah. Yeah, so
So,
now I'm back for like my third degree while I continue making coffee, and then I also play a lot of Genshin and hang out on the internet on the side.
wow, that is amazing.
Hmm.
So, so you said you hang out on Genshin on the internet. So what do you do? Like, where can we find you? Twitch,
Oh,
YouTube?
oh yeah. So I stream on Twitch,
Mm-hmm.
at Owletdesu. I guess I can just shove it in. How could I put it into the chat? Should I just put it there?
Yeah, we can put
Uh,
it there.
would wait? How would I like Twitch.tv slash Owletdesu? So that is where I mostly hang out. Oh, it worked, and it like linked to my profile and everything. Very nice.
Nice.
I don't have a very set schedule, unfortunately, just because work and school life sometimes gets to me, and I'm too tired and busy and whatnot. But I do try to stream uh, as frequently as I can, and that's where we hang out for the most part. Otherwise, I don't really do anything else. I have a Twitter that is not very well kept. Usually, I just post my streaming
Mm-hmm.
announcements on there and my starting screens, and that's about it. And I want to make TikToks, but I haven't really started doing that
Oh
yet
my
because
God, I
I would
feel
love to
you.
make like little lore like information and whatever in little
Mm-hmm.
bite-sized pieces, but at the same time, your video editing is so hard. My
Yeah.
co-host Roosevelt makes YouTube videos, and I asked her for advice on what like program I could use to just like edit, like literally like edit a tiny little video, and she gave me a recommendation, and I went in there and it was just so overwhelming. I had to ask for help on how to trim a video. I couldn't figure it out.
Oh man. Okay, well, you got your
I'm
work
like,
cut out for
oh,
you. Is all I'm gonna say.
yeah.
Cause yeah.
my dreams of making little TikToks are getting further and further
Well,
away from
there's
me.
like a thing where like there's a thing you can set up where it'll take parts of your stream and turn it into a TikTok video. Like you just put your video here and you have it set up a certain way so that when you stream, you
I
just pick from
yeah.
where to where and it'll become a video that's cut for a
Oh.
phone for TikTok. I can show you later.
Oh,
Maybe it'll make
interesting.
it even
Okay,
easier
okay.
for you. Yeah.
Maybe.
But
Because
that's
I've
cool.
tried installing on OBS the like vertical
Mhm.
recording layout thing, but that bugs my OBS and stops me from being able to stream.
I
So I
see.
like literally cannot be streaming and have the vertical screen up at the same time.
Okay. Well, we can figure it out. But the point is,
Yeah.
you love making content. You want to make more kinds of content. You're, experimenting. You love Genshin. You love the
Mhm,
lore.
mhm. I
So
do.
let us quick version. Who is your favorite character and why?
Oh boy, that is such a difficult question. There are just so many beautiful and wonderful characters in this game to choose from, but I have to say that number one, by a landslide, and like there's literally zero competition, is Wanderer. Obviously, hello. Like this isn't even an a subjective decision, it's an objective choice.
Wow. Okay. All right. I love it. Steadfast in
uh,
your beliefs. Very, very cool.
no, he's wonderful. Like genuinely though, I do think that he is the character that this company has loves the most and has put the most effort into. I mean, his storyline spans like basically the entire game since 1.1 when he was
Yep.
introduced, and then like snippets over of his story just being given to us every couple of months. He's
Mm-hmm.
just a very high effort character that
Yeah.
encompasses like so many of the themes that this game explores.
Yes, and we will talk more about that because I have allowed you some Scaramouche gushing time at the end of this podcast. So,
Thank you,
for those
sir.
of you that are interested in hearing Owlet gush about Scaramouche, we will, and I can gush. Scaramouche is one of my main characters as well. So, or
Mhm.
Wanderer, or Windwalker, as I named him. Um,
Oh.
so yeah, we have a lot to talk about today. But we're gonna be chill. It's not a
Mhm.
super formal podcast, like you said. We're just gonna talk about lore. We're just gonna hang out for 2 hours. And I already see a lot of people in the chat. People from your stream, I think Shy
Mhm.
Senpai.
Yeah,
People
Shy
from
and
my
Gocho
stream,
dropped in.
Fangirl, Kazu, Pai Manyaka, all these people. Thank you guys for
Hello.
coming and saying hi and hanging out
Mhm.
with us. So
Mhm.
maybe we can have some tiny Q&A time at the end too if we have some time.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, cool. So
Or we can just ignore chat. That's fine
yeah,
too.
let's ignore them. Okay. So
Okay.
so yeah, I want to talk about today's topics, which are going to be so I heard you finished Windbloom recently, so we're going to talk
Mhm.
about
Last
Windbloom a
night.
little bit. Last night, very recently, very close to
12
the
hours
end of
ago.
the event time. um
Uh,
and we're going to talk about Care Bear, which you
mhm.
you did as
Care
well, right?
Bear.
Yeah, we're going to talk about
Yeah.
Care Bear. Yeah.
Care Bear.
So we're gonna talk about Care Bear, and we're gonna talk a little bit about like 3.6, like what you want to see, what
Mhm,
you. We're
mhm.
not gonna we're not gonna go into the L word. We're not gonna go into forbidden knowledge as we call it on my stream, but we
Mhm.
are going to talk about like our personal speculations based off of the story and the characters that we've experienced so far, and any official information that Hoyoverse has released to us. Um, and then we will talk about Scaramouche at the very end. We will have some
Of
time.
course.
Okay.
I'll sneak in the Scara everywhere, don't worry.
And I will let you. So, um, okay. So, okay, let's get started. So, in that case, Windbloom. Okay, you finished Windbloom. What
Mhm.
are your thoughts? Like, what is your? Hopefully, everyone here has finished the event. It is ending, I
Mhm.
believe today. So,
Yeah, it's
hopefully,
ending in about 12 hours. So if you
yeah.
guys haven't done it, you gotta go.
If you're
Don't
if you're on
stay
Asia
here.
server like me, it's already over. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely don't sleep on this event. So, what
Mhm.
is your what are your thoughts on Windbloom? What stood out to you? What did you
Oh,
like about it?
I
What did you
love
not
it
like about it?
so much.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
Mond is home, so I'm very happy to just be back in Mond for a festival as well. But also, it's just kind of like, damn, consistently good storylines and characters and everything in Mond,
Mm.
the most beloved region. But yeah, this one was really nice because they brought in like some of my favorite characters from Sumeru who are also fantastic and brought them here to interact with other characters that I love. Oh my god, I was melting the whole time.
Oh,
Sino and Tehnari, oh my god.
yeah.
I love
What
them
did you like
so
about it?
much. Their interactions with Albedo are fantastic. I remember a long time ago discussing with some other people who are Albedo fans when Tehnari first came out how
Mm-hmm.
cool it would be for them to interact and be nerds together, and we actually got it in this event. I
Hmm.
was so satisfied. Oh my god. And they were just like appropriately nerdy with their flower discussion if you went out to find them after the first day too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was so nice.
My favorite part was, my favorite comment that someone said about the story for this Wind Bloom event was that it's basically a fan fiction. So,
Oh no.
I mean, it kind of is, which is really cool.
I mean, I guess, yeah, because people have been writing like I guess for a long time, Genshin didn't really do events that had like regional crossover.
Right, exactly.
So it was a little bit self-contained for a while within
Hmm.
each region, but then they did start moving around, thankfully, and making characters interact to each other. So we don't need fan fiction for that anymore. It's canon.
Yeah, I mean, as
Beautiful.
we get more and more characters, as we bounce back and forth between all the regions, it's gonna
Mhm.
keep happening, right? Even Venti,
Yeah.
just like being in Lantern, right, was like, oh, what are you doing here? Like,
Yeah,
you know,
he just like showed up.
yeah, which
Which like makes sense. He literally just like goes to hang out in the UA all the time, but it's nice to actually see it, you know.
yeah. So
It was a little bit frustrating to see the fandom act surprised that like Xiao and Venti get along when it's like no, but they hang out though.
yeah, I
like,
mean, we know about that from a
like
long
they've
time ago,
known
right?
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have yeah, so we had like all these characters, so many playable characters coming together, even like
And
briefly, right? Like
Timaeus.
even like Eula and then Timaeus
Mhm.
and Yinger, like just being together.
Oh, Timaeus and Yinger. Oh my god, my whole heart. They have
Yeah,
my whole
there's this girl I really like. No, 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 no. I don't want to hear about it. Like Mona. Oh my god, I love it. Um,
I know. She's like, please don't. No, none of that relationship shit around me, please.
right? It's
Oh
like
my goodness.
and but like I don't know if you saw this meme, but it's like of like I'm just trying to craft some condense some resin, but like Yinger and Timaeus are just there being all lovey dovey. Oh, it's so funny.
Yeah, basically holding
Yeah,
hands in
yeah.
public, ridiculous.
Oh my, holding hands and get out. Get a room, you two.
Oh my god, but the conversation is so it's like it's downright lewd. Oh my god, Yinger's delivery as
But
well. Like I mean
Yinger,
she is
right?
who she is, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean we
But
remember
like
Yinger from the story. Come
yeah.
on, like
Oh my god, her lines are just too much. Also, one of one of the cutest things I found about this event is that like, okay, I'm not the biggest fan of Sucrose because she's kind of like mean to people.
mm-hmm.
Um, like whether intentional or not, she is a little bit abrasive sometimes. At least she has been in like
For
previous events.
science, yeah.
So what? Yeah, yeah, for science and like for her lack of social skills. But it was really nice to find in this one that like Sucrose is privy to like so much of Timaeus' suffering. That like
Mm,
clearly he's confiding in her and talking to her about this, and Sucrose knows about Ying Air, and he knows that he's been sending her letters and gifts and whatever. So it's just like it was a really cute interaction, I guess, to see them like be that close. Because
mm-hmm.
most of the time, whenever you see Sucrose interacting with Timaeus, she's just like dunking on him.
Yeah, I think and this was the event where a lot of people finally got to see because there's no Sucrose hangout, right? So
Mhm.
this is like the most we've seen of Sucrose in any sort of like story capacity. Like, and it's a lot. Like we see Sucrose a lot during this
Yeah,
entire event, and we learn a lot about her.
yeah. The first time we really see her is like the first Dragon Spine event, but I know a
Right.
lot of people just weren't playing back then.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
Like that
yeah.
was kind of what you're talking about, where she's like dunking on him. But um,
Yeah, and then, like, there was another one, I think, also, I don't remember, but, like, it's the one where he was very excitedly talking about making ice cubes, I think, and she was just, like, making fun of him, and oh, yeah, it was the second Dragon Spine
yeah,
event
I
where
think it was the
she's like,
second
"Oh,
one.
Albedo seems upset. What did you fuck up today, Timaeus?"
Oh
Like,
my god,
"Girls, what the hell?"
Sucrose, no chill. Like no chill.
Zero chill. But like it's
Yeah.
nice to see that they are actually close enough that like he confides all of these things in her. And even though she might not like super care, like I feel like she doesn't care that much, at least she listens. Because Mona just shuts him down, but Sucrose at least listens and remembers all of these things.
Right. Well, that I
So
mean
like
it's nice
that
to
was really
see.
cute.
Yeah, that they
Hmm.
actually have a working relationship of sorts.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That was super cute.
yeah, and Sucrose, Sucrose is already a really good character in the game, like really fun to play. Like she gathers all the enemies and does the swirls, and for people that really had no motivation to play her, they didn't know about the character. Now some people do, so it's really cool
Hmm.
to like a character because of an event when previously you really
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
about them, right?
Yeah, before this event started, I've been trying to figure out what kind of Sino team I want to commit to and how I want to build a team around him. And
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of Cole and Sucrose because I recently got a C2 Cole,
Okay.
which is like enough Dendro application for him. And then I was like, oh, Sucrose, like my Sucrose's artifacts are kind of like built stupid. So even though I don't use her, she has like 950 EM.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, okay, I can do some EM sharing and like VV shredding for my Sino with the Sucrose. That would be pretty cool. Like, too bad they don't really have a connection or whatnot. And then this event comes along, and I'm
Right.
like, yo,
Yo.
canonical.
Yeah. It's so great. Like what's great is that it's like a bunch of characters from the first place, Mondstadt, and then a bunch of characters from the
Mhm.
newest place, Sumeru, and we have
Yes.
like this
Hmm.
connection, and we already did with a little bit
Hmm.
with knowing about Kale's past and everything,
Hmm.
and with Lisa as well.
Yeah.
but
Yes.
but yeah,
Yeah, the
it's
Lisa
really great.
and Sino stuff was really nice too. Yeah.
Yeah, finding out
Mhm.
anything about Sino's past is, is
It's
like
crazy.
is really crazy.
Holy.
Like I kind of forgot how much we don't know about him because he was in the Sumeru Archon quest so much, but he was
Hmm.
there as himself, his present self, and the only thing we ever talked about was him being the Mahamat, the what's
Yeah,
it
yeah,
called?
yeah,
Dai
yeah.
Mahamatra.
He was
Yeah,
just there in the capacity of his job, right?
exactly.
And then like while I do think that his story quest was actually really good and like does show us more sides of his character and was just a well-written story in general, it was also incredibly frustrating to get absolutely no backstory. Because then you read stuff about him and it's like, wait, he like has like a demon or something trapped inside of him or
Yeah,
something like that, but there's like been no expansion on that at all, and we're done the Archon quest and his story quest. And I'm like, are you just gonna leave us hanging? Like, what is this? Can I
yeah.
have more?
I mean, we know now, right, that he was like the vessel for a dead god, like the Hermanubis god, and that
Um, I
he
mean, I
was part
guess
of
it's
the
like his,
Temple of Silence or
yeah,
something like that.
Temple of Silence. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Was Hermanubis like actually a god or just like a really powerful thing?
Um,
Because
ah,
he was one of like Deshret's advisors, right?
right, right. I
Yeah.
mean, gods, right? Like, it's not like there are like not Archon level gods, and also like
Yeah,
other
yeah,
gods
yeah.
like Orobashi and stuff. So,
Hmm.
I feel like the god term is used pretty loosely in this game. So,
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that.
oh, okay,
But
okay. So tell me, wait,
at the
tell me
same
about that.
I mean, it's like I don't know if the word God is being used very loosely by the game, but I do think that sometimes maybe there's a little bit of a misinterpretation in terms of like the fandom, perhaps. Or people
Okay,
kind of forget that Archon and God are like the same thing, but Archon is simply somebody with a gnosis, and that's it. There's just the seven of them. They're not like
okay. So you're saying is
different,
that
essentially.
all Archons are gods, but not all gods are Archons.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I just think what's it called? So yeah, okay. So maybe I misspoke. Maybe I don't think that they use it lightly in that sense.
mhm.
But there are a lot more gods than just the Archon. Is I guess what I'm
Oh
trying to
yeah,
say.
yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah.
for sure, for sure.
So like
Which is a little interesting because the beginning of the game is set up to tell us that like, oh yeah, there's only these seven left because they basically killed everyone else for their positions.
right.
But then you go through the stories and you go through the game and it's like, no, there's actually like more, and they were hanging out after the Archon War, and then they got killed or they didn't, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
I thought there was supposed to be seven.
yeah. That
Why is
part
there
is
so
still
many?
the past is still very unclear to us, right? Like
Mhm, mhm. It's interesting.
So yeah, so we found out a little bit. I mean, we found out that Sino and Lisa studied under the same darshan, which is cool,
Mhm, mhm.
and we know that Kale has been coming regularly to Mondstadt.
No, so cute.
Yeah, and
Those
like,
two losers, Tignari and Sino, trying to use her as an excuse. Oh
yeah,
my god.
oh my god.
But guys, I've been coming here for years. Shh, Sucre. We're here for you. We're here for you, Cole.
So there's that.
Not for us.
The like just super adorable introvert interaction between Kale and
And
Sucrose,
Sucrose.
just
Oh
sitting
my
down.
god.
We don't
They
even
were
have to
so
talk.
cute.
Let's just sit here, you know, like
Hmm.
that's so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a really beautiful scene. Like one of my one of the things I get angry about is when I see scenes like that in the game, and I know that those characters are not posable like that in camera mode. Oh, that makes me so upset. But like,
I I get just please let us do more with camera mode, Hoyoverse, please.
right? Oh
Yes.
my
I mean,
god,
at
I
least
love
give us the
camera mode.
tripod. Come on, like,
Yeah,
I'm not even
let
asking
me
for them to give us
set
so
up.
many poses and stuff. Like, at least just give me the tripod and then just slowly
Yeah.
add, the ability to sit, the ability to do idle animations on command,
Hmm.
like all this stuff.
Yeah. God, it would be so nice. But yeah, no, that was a really beautiful conversation.
I
And
s-
it's really sweet that Cole like grew to like and trust Sucrose so
mm,
quickly.
yeah.
Because it's like it took her a bit of time to open up to us even during the Archon quest, right? But like
Yeah. I mean, her
Sucrose, I
anxiety,
guess.
she
Yeah.
doesn't have Elazar anymore, so that's also like it's her first time being able to like start interacting with people without the fear of hurting them, I think.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that could be like, she's excited to meet people, but she's anxious. So and
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
how they
She
showed
spent
that.
her whole life being, yeah, like really sheltered and
Mhm.
guarded, and now I guess
Especially
there's a bit
especially in
less of a
Mondstadt,
reason to
right? She
be.
like accidentally killed people in Mondstadt. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, she did.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, and I
uh,
still don't know whether Cole knows that Kaya was not actually gonna kill her in an alleyway, but from her perspective, he totally tried to kill her.
I mean, she didn't know, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I don't know if
Yeah.
she knows that that was just like a trick to get the god juice like to
Mhm.
react. I don't know if she's under the impression that he literally tried to murder her.
Yeah, speaking of god juice, that breath of happiness that Sucrose
Oh my
took
god, what
from
the hell was
from
that?
Kale, it's the dead god's breath, and it's like,
I
but it's
know.
so dangerous. You better be careful with that, Sucrose. Oh my goodness.
Oh god. That whole time that whole like, oh, I want to collect somebody's happy breath in my test tube was so fucking weird and creepy. Oh
Well,
my
they have to
god.
keep Sucrose true to character, right?
Yeah.
Like they can't
Yeah,
just
they
make
have
her
to
like
keep her as
suddenly
herself.
super wholesome and this like,
Yeah, yeah.
no, she's freaking weird for science, okay? Like that's her
Oh
thing.
god.
So, um
Yeah.
yeah, so that was great.
Cutely and wholesomely
I kind of
collecting people's breath.
yeah, science.
Mhm. It's like
I
I would
popped.
I would almost forget about it as the conversations would go on, and then somebody would bring it up, and I would just cringe immediately.
Yeah, like like, oh,
Everything
everything's
was
going
going
great.
so
Hey,
well.
Sucrose, how's your collecting people's happiness breaths coming along? Oh,
Oh my god.
yeah. I was gonna say I
Oh, what
popped
a
over to
weirdo.
your Twitch and I was like watching some of your VODs from your video yesterday.
Oh no.
No, I mean I literally
Stop.
just skipped around and
Mhm.
because I was also curious like about how you have a co-host and like how Roosevelt is there
Mhm, mhm.
and you have the little reactive things kind of like we're here using
Yes.
here and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's like it's really cool. And but one thing I noticed specifically that I happened to skip to was like when you went to the tea party table and you sat up there and you're
Mhm.
like, guys, it's so beautiful up here. Yeah, so
I
that
I
was great.
love I love the scenery of this game. It's one of the things that keeps me going.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like you just look every once in a while.
Yeah.
And I really like the photo events because not only do they let you use the tripod that I wish we had,
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
also give us like new places to go to when we want to take pictures. Like maybe it's like a spot that
Yeah.
they made for
Yeah.
pictures that we didn't know about, or it just looks beautiful from there.
Mhm.
So they're
Yeah.
like, hey, by the way,
They
this is a
do
good
give
photo
me
spot.
inspirations for
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah, because every time I start stream, I try to find like like a nice looking place to set up in, because then the starting screen is in game, usually with like a character chilling, and there's like stuff in the background. So I try to make it like look beautiful and
Nice.
aesthetic, and like hopefully let people like um I don't know, fall in love with the scenery of the game as much as I have. But like, yeah, these photo events are super nice because it's like inspiration for that. But also very frustrating because I'm like, why can't I just have these angles all the time?
Yeah. So
Why can't I
maybe
set up my tripod and move my character instead of like guessing where I want to stand and
yeah.
then like moving my camera around?
Yeah, like we should be able to see like from the tripod, we should be able to do a lot of things.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one
It's
day
like
hopefully.
obviously the technology is there, mihoyo. The technology exists.
Wait, hold on. We have
Give
to
it
invent this.
to us.
Let's invent cameras real quick. Hold on.
Oh my god, yeah, they're gonna have to give us like a fucking world quest in Fontaine to excuse us having a tripod.
Like I really want like for you maybe you have to be in single player or something, or maybe there's a something you can do about it. But I would love a like really robust photo mode similar to like in games like Spider-Man or God of War or Horizon, where like everything stops and you can like move the camera anywhere. You
Mhm.
can add a bunch of effects on it. You can like,
Yeah.
there's the like it's we need something like that. Like this game is so beautiful. We just really
Mhm.
want to appreciate it more. Like give us the tools to appreciate your game more.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I would also love to be able to change the time in camera mode
Oh
without exiting
yeah.
what I've set up.
Oh yeah.
And like,
Please.
yeah, God, so many things. Mihoyo, listen.
Listen to us. Yeah. So.
It's not even game stuff. We're not even complaining about game stuff. Just give us camera mode.
Yeah. Just let us enjoy what we already have, please.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so we
But
so we talked a
yeah.
little bit about Windbloom there, and what about I mentioned the tea party, but what about the witches and the
Mhm.
Hexen Circle? So let's talk about that for
Oh
a little
my
bit.
god, don't get me
Oh,
started.
I'm getting you started. Let's go. Let's talk about this.
Holy shit. Oh my god, the Hexen Circle. Okay, so I already hate many of the members of the Hexen Circle, and the only ones that we know of are like Alice, the old hag,
Mhm.
and I guess Daughter now. I
Mhm.
already hate Alice and Daughter.
LOL.
This video just gives me more reason to hate
Wait, okay,
them.
okay. Why do you hate Alice? Let's dissect this a
Alice
little
is
bit.
awful. Alice is a disgusting, horrible human being.
Is she human
First of
though?
all, just from or like you know not literally human being, but just
Okay.
like being
Person
she's just a
thing.
horrible, disgusting thing, a creature, absolutely awful.
Gross.
Like, one, from the absolute irresponsibility of just like leaving her child in Mond and expecting other people to take care of her,
Mhm.
like, rubs me the wrong way. Like, okay, yes, Klee has a wonderful found family who do take a good care of her, but like, what the fuck, Alice? Take care of your fucking kid.
Mhm.
You drop her off with knowledge of TNT and explosives, and you just expect things to be okay.
I'm really
Oh my
curious
god.
if there is or isn't something that will be explained there. Like whether like Clee's never really actually like alone because Alice is always looking, or whether there is something about Clee that makes her like quite literally indestructible. And I'm really curious if there is something there. If there's not, then it is probably as you say, and she's just a terrible mother
Like, I
slash
mean,
creature. But
yeah,
you know,
she does seem to be watching, but like at the
yeah,
same time, yeah, I guess she does have the safety of Albedo, a literal, like, not human,
yeah,
perfect homunculus to watch over her daughter. So that's
yeah.
something. But also, like, god damn it, Alice, what the hell?
I mean, it sounds like
It's been
she's in
like two and
solitary
a half
confinement
years.
most of the time. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is she really out? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm curious if they're
But
gonna
it's like,
explain more about that once we figure out
yeah,
more about
yeah, yeah.
Alice, because for someone so smart and almost like omnipotent in a way, like
Hmm.
is she like is that really what she did? That's what makes me
Yeah, yeah,
curious
no,
about it.
we'll
Like,
see.
yeah,
That part is not like my major problem with
right.
her. The much more serious problem that I have with her is the absolute brutality with which she experiments on hilichurls.
Oh well, there is
And
that.
there's absolutely no way that she doesn't know what they are.
Oh no, of course she has to know what they are.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, she has to absolutely know what they are, and she still, like, in her stupid little travel diaries, she documents how she literally takes old ones, grinds them up into paste to feed to other ones. Or, like, she wants to, that she straps them to, ruin guards to see what would happen, and then they just get torn limb from limb. Like,
I'm
it's
wondering if
horrific.
that was like, what if she wrote that guide before she knew what they were?
No way. There's no way that she doesn't know what they are.
No, no,
Like,
maybe
that's the thing
now
with,
she knows what they are, but maybe at the beginning she that was like, you know,
but she wrote that guide like within the last couple of years because she talks about characters like Kaya and Jean being captain and acting
okay,
grandmaster.
okay, okay. So then,
Yeah, yeah.
so
So like
then, so she's
these are
just terrible.
recent
Got it,
entries.
got it.
Yeah, she's just terrible. Like because these are all recent entries, and even then it's like the Hilichurls have existed before Conria. So like I guess there's like no proof that they are also cursed humans,
Yeah,
but like
I mean,
it
what? So,
stands to reason
mm,
that they might be,
so if
considering that we have like
Killer
yeah.
Trolls existed before the fall of Conria, then that would mean that the people that were cursed that turned into Hilichurls were turned into a creature that already exists that aren't
Mhm.
necessarily. It'd be like people turning into like rabbits or something. People turning into
Kind of.
bears,
But the
right?
thing is about that is it's like while that is a possibility that they are just being cursed into creatures that already existed in this world, we
Mm-hmm.
do also have like records of other like curses being put on people where they
Right.
lose their like language and their looks, which is
Mm-hmm.
like oddly reminiscent of how hilichurls are described. So I do like while it's not 100% certain, I do believe that like all hilichurls are like some sort of cursed peoples, and there's
Right.
no way that Alice doesn't know this with her vast like uh, knowledge and near omnipotence and old age.
Right. So
Yeah,
yeah, so that just we basically have to see. Well, when we learn
yeah.
more about Alice,
So the way she
obviously,
treats hilly turtles
yeah.
pisses me off so bad. I hate her.
Okay, so that's why you hate Alice. So why do you hate Ryan
Yes,
Daughter?
I hate Ryan daughter for many reasons. I guess majorly her general mistreatment of Albedo.
Hmm.
Like, to be fair, as like a created being, she doesn't owe him like any sort of affection or whatever. But like what really rubbed me the wrong way is that like Albedo stories describe their relationship as like kind of horrifying, where he spends his entire time with Daughter being terrified of making a mistake and being thrown out, and like genuinely like he just like knows that he's just a tool to her, and that is how he's being treated. And then she comes in this cutscene and goes, oh, he's my only child left. Why do you think he's the only one left? You keep feeding your other children to Durin. And then goes, oh, but that also that still makes me a mother, right? Like how?
I mean, in a literal sense, but not in the
Like
emotional sense.
you've literally never had a mother and child relationship with him. What is this comment? It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, well, like being a mother is a loaded word, right? Like there's
Yeah.
the literal aspect, like I created this life, and then there's the emotional aspect of like, are you a mother to
Yeah.
this thing? Like you can be a mother to
Mhm.
something that you didn't give birth to, right?
Yeah, yeah, no,
So yeah,
absolutely.
so
It
then
was just like a really weird comment to me because
yeah,
like she's obviously like not motherly to Albedo at all. Treats him like, a created thing and a tool,
hmm
and he understands this. And like
she just sounds
it was just like a
she
very
sounds
odd
selfish
comment.
and wants to
Yeah.
sort of, I guess, when she wants to be able to say that she is a mother. Like
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like.
Mhm,
But then
mhm.
otherwise she doesn't actually
It
care.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does. It's like, "Oh, well, this one is successful. Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm his mother. I
It's
made
kind of like
him."
that. It's kind of like that. Oh, my best friend's black, like kind of like like that doesn't
No!
work. That doesn't, like, you can't just say that
Oh my
when it doesn't
god,
mean
that's
anything.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when
Shoves
people
aside all of the other children that she literally fed to Durin because they were imperfect. Ah, Albedo, my perfect son. Shut the fuck up,
Yeah,
granddaughter. Oh
exactly.
my god.
Like, we're talking about family and children right now. I have a son, by the way. Like that. Yeah, it's terrible.
Actually, though, yeah.
So
Mm.
what are your thoughts about the old hag, Barbaloth, or I think is her name?
Barbaloth, yeah. I don't have too much about her apart from like Mona seems to be very hateful and vengefully say old hag at her all the time,
Mm-hmm.
except for if you had gone after the third day to what is it, Starfell Lake,
Mm-hmm.
Clea and Mona are hanging out there and they have a little conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and the Mona like calls her an old hag, but almost as if it's her name. She like kind of almost thoughtfully just goes, "Oh yeah, the old hag likes hats too." Like, and it's not for once, it's super not hateful. So I'm just getting like, I'm wondering now if anybody even fucking knows Barbara Loth's real name because Klee also calls her an old hag, and there's no way that she would like do that unless Alice also calls Barbara Loth an old hag. Like,
Mm.
I don't remember the exact sentence, but it was just kind of something like, "Oh yeah, my mom like used to hang out with this lady. Oh, what's her name again? Oh yeah, the old hag." Literally everybody calls her old hag. Does
Yeah,
anybody know her
I'm
name?
I'm wondering about that because like I'm assuming in Chinese and Japanese, like whether it's a translation thing or they really pick that, like just being able to say um like old lady basically, and that's just like a term that you would use
I
for
guess so.
yeah. So like
It's
like
just
because
so like it's so vicious,
yeah,
vicious
it's so
every
weird.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
sometimes
yeah,
when
Alice also calls her the old hag. She what now?
yeah. It's kind of like calling someone who's just old, like anyone, even if they're not related to you, like grandma, right? Like,
I
hey,
guess
grandma.
so, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious if that's what they actually call her for a reason,
Maybe.
or if they're just calling
Yeah,
her that
like I
because
guess
she's an
we
old
could.
lady.
Yeah, like I guess we could just kind of look it up, but it's just like it's interesting to know that like Alice we know as somebody who is also rather old, possibly ancient.
Mm-hmm.
But if Barbaloth is old to her, like that's
That's
insane.
a
But
big
also the
deal.
fact that like Barbaloth's name does seem to be like we I did a quick little Google search on stream yesterday awkwardly, but like
Awkwardly.
Barbaloth's name seems to be based on an old Gnostic, ancient like deity, and
Okay.
it's like a weird one because it's like one she's meant to be like uh the like the absolute or like the ideal feminine or something, but is also extremely androgynous.
Hmm.
But like yeah, it is basically like an a like an almost like top ancient god of Gnosticism as far as I understand, which obviously is really important to this game because they based a lot of their lore
On
around
Gnosticism. Yeah.
Gnosticism. Yeah. So
Yeah.
like Barbaloth is becoming incredibly interesting.
Yeah. I mean, even this like oh my gosh. So this plus the Care Bear quest just gave us so many more questions than the answers. Um yeah, so then we have the other 3 that we know about out of the 8 implied witches, is that right?
Mhm.
We have
Yeah,
like
so there looks like
Nicole
there should be
Eva,
8,
yeah.
but there's just 7
There's
seats, which is really
yeah.
interesting as
And we only
well.
know about 6,
Mhm.
which is like A, B, R, N,
Mhm.
J, and M. And
Mhm.
so did someone get kicked out of the Hexen Circle? What happened? So anything else about the Hexen Circle? Tell me. Go.
Oh, I guess wait. I just had a slight little thing. So Alice's conversation about how Jay left the Hexen Circle
Right.
to go get married and
Right.
whatever. So like maybe that's why there's 7 seats. Maybe we're just
Oh, true,
overthinking
true,
it
true. Yeah.
because she hasn't a successor hasn't been acknowledged yet, right? So maybe that's why there's 7 chairs.
That makes
It
sense.
could literally just be that simple.
Yeah. It's not that
I've
they
been
kicked
overthinking
Senora
it all
out or
day.
something like that. Got it.
Oh God,
Yeah. I
I've been
didn't
overthinking it this
yeah.
whole time.
So, okay.
Um,
So what else about the Hexen Circle do you want to talk about?
Yeah. Jay is like interesting but confusing to me because like I'm super unclear on whether Jay is even alive or not, and if she died, then when. Because Scarlet seems to imply that Jay hasn't been replaced for centuries,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
And then like Alice says that she went off to get married, and then both of them can't seem to make up their minds about whether she's dead or not. Because like depending on what sentence of like their conversation you look at, like they're talking about her as if she's dead or as if she's alive, and it's really confusing to me, and I have no idea what to do with that. I might have to just like look over it again. Maybe I was just too tired to comprehend, but like
Right.
Jay's a weird one,
You did
but
do the whole
also a
thing in one sitting.
horrifying one. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But Jay is also like it's like maybe less horrifying than the others because she's like, oh yes, my beloved, he was just very old and sick, so I put him out of his misery. But at the
Right.
same time, her language concerning him is still incredibly selfish. It's like, oh, he loved me, so I took his fate into my hands,
Right.
and like, which is odd.
Kind of messed up. Yeah.
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's like on the one hand, yes, like somebody who is actually like genuinely very sick and old and suffering, like it could be a relief. But at the same time, this whole like it was like a really odd phrase. Instead of saying like I care about him and I didn't want him to suffer, so I ended his life. She says he loved me, so I took his fate into my hands. It's like it's a different mood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that one I was really sussed out about. But also we had like a time yesterday doing this on stream and theorizing that Jay is Dilek's mother.
Yeah. I love
Which
this
is
theory.
like yeah, which like falls apart entirely if she died centuries ago,
Mm-hmm.
but still is strong and kicking if she is actually alive. Because like, oh, we sent this prophecy out because Jay was getting married and we just wanted to have one last tea party with her. But like, does that imply that that was like her final marriage? Because we literally have Jay in the cutscene killing her lover. So like, was that the same guy that she got married to, or is she married to someone else after killing this one? How many has she gone through?
Yeah, that's true. We
That
don't know
is that is
any
that
of
is
that.
my question. Yeah, so that is what I'm wondering about. One of the things that I've been hung up on for a while is the teapot design that they have for the Hexen Circle. A few nights ago, I was doing the floral pursuit, and I thought to myself, oh, it's really interesting that this little teacup is here in the spawn area, the red teacup with like the gold trim,
Mm-hmm.
because like you don't see that anywhere but Dilek's house, but they reused this asset for this temporary domain. Oh, cool, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then I get to the table and I'm like, wait, they specifically reused this unique teapot on this table, and then they also animated in the cutscene. So I'm just like, is it just asset reuse or are they trying to tell me something? Because
Yeah.
generally, like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because I like tea so much, but I like watch the teapots in this game for some fucking reason. So like, so like, I know that Jean and Lisa, for example, have a matching teapot set on their desks.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem to exist anywhere else. Like maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I just haven't noticed every single teapot in the game. But the red
If you
teapot
haven't,
with the
shamed on
gold
you. Shame on you.
yeah, yeah, maybe I haven't. I'm sorry, but the red teapot with the gold trim has always been, as far as I know, unique to the Ragenvinter house. It's like sitting in the middle of the landing.
Right.
All right, so seeing it reused very specifically for this is just like very odd to me. Plus, with the fact how Jay is represented in that cutscene in a bright red dress,
Mm-hmm.
kind of makes me want to connect them, even though I know this is super, super flimsy. Like it's
Right.
literally just a
It's
color,
like one of
and
the
red could be
primary colors.
yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like red could just as feasibly be used for her because she's talking about love, which is just like generally the color
Mm-hmm.
of love in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh yeah, Deluxe hair is
but
the color of love.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. There's the Ragenvinders being redheads connection, but like I know it's flimsy, but like it's interesting to think about. But plus on top of that, Jay is Snezhnayan. You can see that based
Right.
on her name in the
Right.
YouTube description, right? Which would possibly lead to an explanation uh, as to how Krapus had a delusion if Jay
Oh
is actually
yeah.
Dilek's mother,
That
right? Because
actually
like I'm
does connect that way.
yeah, like there is a like it's all very speculative and flimsy, but at the same time, I have been wondering for a really long time how the fuck Krapus got a delusion. Like he is he's somebody who never made it into the Knights, for example. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's a goal he had, and he never did it. He was never able to. He's somebody who never got a vision in his life either, despite wanting one.
Right.
All right, like both of those dreams kind of got passed down to Dillik, and Dillik achieved both like fairly quickly. So like I've always been curious as to how Krapus even got his hands on a delusion. But having
And
a
why his
Snezhnayan
teapot is
witch,
so dang red.
yeah, why is his teapot red? But yeah, having I guess a Snezhnayan like mage as I don't know, a lover, a wife, or something would
Mm-hmm.
be an interesting connection. But like once again, this is all like just kind of like
Yeah,
a
this is
thought
speculative
experiment.
theory. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like I do like that. And then it would be super hilarious that like Dillik in his little murder trip started killing Snezhnayan people.
Oh gosh, would that be
It would be
hilarious?
like it would be super tragic because Dillik not only had to also kill his father to put him out of his
Mm-hmm.
misery, he then went on a rampage against like possibly his mother's like people as revenge. So I think that would just be like a deeply tragic storyline that they could definitely do.
Yeah, it
So like
sounds like
there's
it.
there's some there's some connections and parallels that I find really interesting.
Yeah, I think that
Otherwise,
it's really interesting to it's really interesting to come back to Mondstadt, right? Because we started in Mondstadt, and like there's so much we don't know about it still, and there's still like a lot of these characters who are connected to other parts of the world, and
mhm.
like seeing them come back, like even just thinking about the prospect of like Snezhnaya is directly connected to D-Luke's family, and D-Luke is from Mondstadt, and he's there's all this stuff going on, and then there's like
Mhm.
Kaya who's like connected to Kynria, and like it's really, and then like
Yeah.
it's really interesting. So I'm
Yeah,
really
Mod
curious
is
to
like
see
a
where it
really
goes.
interesting region because it's our intro place, but it's
Mm-hmm.
also like really interesting, but also incredibly incomplete and mysterious.
Yeah, exactly.
Where it's like we have all of these characters that are obviously extremely important to the overarching plot, but like almost no information about them.
Yeah, we kind of also just leave Mondstadt pretty fast now that been playing the game again over on North America account because my main is on Asia, and
Yeah.
like playing through it again at this point after knowing everything I know, like actually playing through it is really interesting because I'm like, oh, that's it.
Mm.
Wait, did we know this early?
Yeah,
Wait,
it's so
like, oh,
fast.
what? Oh,
Yeah.
I understand this now. Like, it's really interesting
Mhm.
because when
Yeah.
you play through the first time, you're not as invested in the game and the
Mhm.
lore and the world, but there's so much important stuff happening.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
put it in immediately,
it
right?
yeah, and you don't
Like,
know
I've
unless
always
you
been of
know.
the yeah. I've always thought that the grand finale of the game is gonna be back in Mond, which is why we just don't have a lot of stuff on it because 'cause they're, like,
Hmm.
saving it for later, but, yeah.
Yeah, I could
For
imagine
all
that.
of my, like, issues with Genshin sometimes and the way that they tell their stories and the writing and whatnot, like, their world building and their lore is intense.
Yeah, it's
They're
intense.
really, really detail
Every
oriented,
little
yeah.
bit of like note that you find on a wall or book that you find on a table
Mm.
somewhere, like everything is relevant. The artifacts
Coughing
all
up
have
blood.
memories. It's just crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
so I played this game since like basically launch, right? And
Mhm.
a little bit
Oh,
on and off
okay.
sometimes, start I didn't get start getting into it until like almost a year in, I think. Like I was playing
Mhm.
it. I was playing it almost every day. But I was just playing it, and then I started paying attention to it halfway through, and just how much lore is hidden throughout the game in not the main storyline, and how
Mhm.
interesting that is. Even just the idea of like how you're talking about Windbloom. There's like 3 different days where the characters are outside talking to each
Yeah.
other after the event. Not only
Oh,
is
it's so
that part of a
frustrating.
limited event, which happens in a lot of limited events, which is really frustrating
Mhm.
when you think about how you could never have possibly found it. Like you remember that you remember the Pokemon fungi event, like the one where you like have
Mhm.
to train your fungi up, and how there was like a whole side story happening like way on the other side of Sumeru. You know about that?
Yeah, no, that one was actually I was enraged. There is absolutely no way that you would have been able to find that.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
saying. Like that kind
it's
of
literally
stuff.
the only way is that somebody probably was there for, like, I don't know, fungi farming and
Yeah,
happened to run
or
into it
like
and was like, "Hey,
dailies or
guys, there's this
something.
thing."
Yeah,
Yeah, that was enraging, and then one of
yeah,
the things that made me actually really upset is the Lisa event and how she would move around the
right.
city
Yep,
regardless of whether you started the fucking event or not, and I'm just like,
yep.
"Okay, I understand that, like, she's moving around every day, but can you at least trigger that after I start the event and not, like, immediately?
Yeah,
So if I'm busy for the first week, I just can't see those
just run into
things?
her.
Like, that's
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah. Why is the event on for 2 weeks if, like, if you don't play it for the first 5 days, you're fucked?
yeah, exactly. So
Oh
like
my
that kind of thing. While there is upsetting aspects of it, it's like
Mhm.
a lot of random kind of detail to like the world
Mhm.
and the characters that you can easily
Yeah.
miss. And then if you're
Yeah.
not paying attention or looking for this stuff, you will miss a lot about the story. And
Mhm.
that which is why, content creators like you, like me, like it's really great to be able to
We
have
have we have shit to do.
yeah, like it's really be able to great it's really great to be able to have a community that shares that with everybody, with
Yeah.
the greater community.
Mhm.
And it's a lot of work on our part, but
Yeah. Like,
but
it's
yeah.
immersive in one way, like, oh, you're not always going to see every single conversation, like, you're
Hmm.
not gonna be around for things, right, in real life, but also it's just, like, it is mildly frustrating because it's like, "It's a video game,
Yeah,
don't punish me for having a real life."
yeah, it's like it's very like, I mean, honestly, all it would take is like a pop-up somewhere that says, "Hey, check out this area." You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
Like
It
that's
would
all
be
we
that
need. It doesn't need to
easy.
be that crazy
Mhm.
hard to find. Like even and I
Yeah.
noticed while playing through some story events, like well, playing through the main story, that after some parts of the Archon quest, there were also similar things where the characters would be kind of standing around and you could find them and talk to
Mhm.
them. And I was like,
Yep.
what the heck? I didn't find this when I went through the first time through.
Yeah.
Like I did like a quest
Like,
with
I wish you
Shao,
would,
and
like,
Shao is
let
like
me
somewhere
know.
over there, and he's like just standing on a rock, and I'm like talking to him, and he has like fully voiced lines. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, 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 I remember that one, I think. I
not
remember just try to go and, like, fucking put some incense down at the temple, and Xiao was just hanging there, and I'm like, "Oh,
yeah. Oh, what?
is
What?
this, like,
What are you
a
doing here?
quest that I missed?
Yeah.
D is
And then
this
he
a
just
is this a
talks.
new
Yep.
story quest?" I'm so confused,
I,
yeah.
I can't even imagine like the Genshin voice actors how many lines they've recorded that people will never hear in their own game. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Um
Yeah.
so the other thing is like that so speaking of like voice lines that people may never hear, like how every time you read someone's mind with Nahida, that voice line is fully voiced.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
all the
I
NPCs.
don't expect that. Oh
Yeah,
my god,
it's
right?
so crazy. Like I was like, "Oh
It's
my god."
insane.
Even when
Like,
you
I know
use
I
it,
don't have Nahida, so people are comforting me saying, "Oh, they don't really say, like, useful or
they
interesting
don't.
stuff. It's
Yeah.
really just, like, whatever," but, like, the fact that it's voiced each time is
No,
insane.
you should get Nahida just for that. Like because, it does help you feel more immersed like in the world.
Mhm,
Like, yeah, it's not a lot of important stuff, but to hear like Timaeus, okay, well not Timaeus because he's not from Sumeru, but you hear like Sumeru people
mhm.
talking about like, oh man, what
I
am I
have
gonna do
jokes.
for the market today or something like that. Like, it's really
Mhm.
cool to like hear
Yeah,
that they
yeah,
have personalities, that they're thinking about stuff, and
yeah.
it's crazy to me that that is locked behind a literal character that you cannot get
A
until certain
limited
times.
class of
Yeah, like
character, yeah.
a limited
Mhm,
paywall
mhm.
almost, and it's crazy. So but
Yeah.
then like you can do
Yeah,
it
like, to be
during
fair, I guess it's
oh,
also
yeah.
that interesting, and I know that some people have also complained about that, like, when they read NPC minds during, like, world quests, they
Hmm.
kind of get it spoiled for them because of their thoughts, so it's, like, I guess, double-edged sword in some way,
Oh
but,
really? I've never
like,
had that experience.
oh, okay, yeah, I think somebody
Interesting.
complained that during one of the desert quests, they read somebody's mind, and it, like, told them what that person's deal was way too early.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well,
Yeah.
that probably should be fixed. But the other interesting thing is like like when there was the Alhaitham quest, or yeah, Alhaitham's quest, where like he and Kaveh are talking. You can scan them from far away and actually read their minds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Haytham has one line and Kaveh has a fucking
Yeah,
soliloquy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly. He's like, it's not that big a deal. And then, like Kave's like,
Oh, I love Kame.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I wanna talk about Kave pretty soon, but yeah. So Windbloom vent. Okay, so much
Mhm.
lore
There's
that
just so
about
much in Windbloom,
Mondstadt that we
yeah.
learned about, a lot more questions.
Mhm.
Um, After we come back from our break, I want to talk about Care Bear,
Care
the
Bear,
Care Bear quest,
Care Bear.
and
I know where Care Bear is. He's in Sucrose's basement because she has a Hilichurl there, and it hasn't killed her yet.
that sounds right. That sounds about right.
It's Care
I
Bear.
believe
I
it.
figured it out.
Yep. All right, Hoyo, we got you. No problem.
Can't hide from me. Why does Sucrose show up immediately after the Care Bear quest,
Huh?
huh?
Huh? Huh? Yeah. So yeah. So let's I guess we can take a 5-minute break starting
Yes.
now.
And have my breakfast.
So yeah, so people, hi everyone, hello everyone. Um we're going to take a 5-minute break, and we will be back to talk about
Mhm.
Care Bear and Scaramouche and whatever else Owlet's heart desires, because she is a guest on our show today. So,
No, no,
um,
no.
okay,
No,
so
you.
no, you, no, I'm the host. Okay, so we will go on a 5-minute break, and so right now the stream time is about to be 1 hour, and we'll see you at 1:05. So,
All right.
okay, see you soon.
Bye. Oh,
Okay,
and
we are back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to this one more cup of coffee, Coffee and Culture's Genshin Impact lore podcast. I'm your host once again, Jside from Genshin Guys Podcast, but you can call me Josh. And yeah, we are here. We are
and
chilling.
I'm here too.
We are chilling with Owlet. Yes, we are chilling with Owlet today, and we just had some good conversations and things about Windbloom, about Mondstadt,
Mhm.
about the Hexen
I've
Circle,
had time to
about
cool down from the Hexen Circle.
yeah, all the stuff Outlet hates. Just let you know, we are here to let her vent. So here it is.
You guys are my therapy session. Thank you.
Yeah, and it's free. Look at that. It's free therapy. 17 people plus in here. Just chilling. Oh, willing
Mhm.
to listen. So
Yes.
So okay, so we talked about Windbloom. Now let's talk about the other big thing that happened in 3.5, which is Care
Mhm.
Bear.
Care
So Care
Bear.
Bear. Let's talk about the Care
Care
Bear.
Bear.
So you did this Archon quest. What are your initial thoughts, takeaways from this quest?
Mm, honestly, oh man, I don't even know. Like,
I'm sure there's a
I
lot.
guess it was like a fairly simple, straightforward quest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I guess some surprises and whatnot, but at the same time, I guess it's wrapped up fairly well.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important part of it is that it does seem to imply that Clotar has figured out how to
How to
remove the curse
die.
of immortality
Yeah.
and actually die. Unless he's alive, unless that skeleton is still sentient and he's just laying there. He's like done with life.
Jeez. I mean, we
He
can't
let
even we
himself
can't
decompose.
I don't even think we can like for sure guarantee that that is him, right? Because did like if they say it is and
Yeah.
they imply it, like, and he says that must be I mean that must be
Yeah, yeah.
Clothar, like, but we don't know that, right?
Yeah, yeah, the thing is about that is that I don't think that there's any value in MiHoYo lying to us about it
Right,
because they do
exactly.
it is very like very strongly implied.
Mm-hmm.
Like we see Clotar in the final scene, the last time we see him, he has that little like scarf around his wrist. And
Mm-hmm.
then we fast forward and yeah, we find a skeleton in that area with the thing on his wrist, which obviously is like in reality is not something that would normally happen. Like you can't just expect that a person with the same accessory like died in that accessory and was buried with it.
Right.
But like for the sake of storytelling, I do think that they're making it fairly clear who that's supposed to be. Even though I guess technically they can still go back on that and change their minds.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Which makes me wonder why they didn't put anything there definitively to show us that it is Clothar, which is like, you know, I feel like yeah, they don't have a reason to lie to us, but they also might have a reason to not show it so clearly.
I guess. Did
Yeah,
Dane say anything about like did Dane also make the same assumption or was this just left up to the player? I don't remember.
I think it was an assumption. I can look it up, um,
Uh,
but yeah. So
I don't have
there's.
my I guess I could open up my game and check, but
I'll
like
just go to like
yeah.
Care Bear, like quest, like dialogue, and just like look at the.
Mm.
Oh, is like that what you're gonna do?
Oh yeah, I mean basically like
The
that's where it would
archive,
be, right?
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cuz that's like I mean, yeah, that's really for that one like I mean, I'm pretty set on that actually being Clotar. Again, I think it would just be a very bad choice in terms of storytelling and like reader trust for them to show him to us with the scarf and then show us a skeleton with the scarf and then just be like psych it's not actually him like that's just cringe
Right,
but yeah so that part is okay for me I think I guess people have been going off trying to figure out who the crystal and the sinner are.
right.
So that's an interesting discussion. Oh my god, what did I do? Oh, there's sorry. I accidentally full screened our stream.
Oh, I mean, you could always
um
do that if you want.
I was just like clicking around and all of a sudden it was giant. I got spooked.
Oh,
But yeah, I don't know. I
okay.
think for me it's like it's just mm?
No, so the dialogue for Clothar
Mhm.
is like you discover what's buried in the field, and then it says a male and Dainslev says a male and female skeleton buried together. Interestingly, the male skeleton appears to have been interred much later, and it's holding a silk scarf in its hand. But what does this mean?
Mhm.
And how did you know that there were bodies buried here? And then you say, I think that the bones of the man belong to Clothar Albric. And he says, what? That's impossible, unless Clothar Albric finally found a way to rid himself of the curse. And then you say, perhaps he did. And then Dainslev goes, ... This all raises far too many questions. I need time to think and to search for my memories of some missing pieces.
Mhm.
That's it.
And
And
then
then they split.
and then he goes, "My job here is
Yeah,
done."
we
And
should
we're
part
like, "But you
ways.
didn't do anything."
Yeah, so that was the biggest problem I had with this quest. I don't know if it's a problem, but
Mhm.
I felt that we didn't do anything in this quest. We learned a lot of things,
It's
but
just information, yeah,
yeah,
I
we
guess.
didn't actually do anything with Dainslev, with Kaya. Like there was like the bulk of the quest was something that happened in the past. It was a memory, and it was a bunch of
Mhm.
information that we
Yeah.
learned, but we didn't actually like progress our own, like we didn't move. You know what I mean? Like we didn't do anything,
Yeah,
which is
like, the traveler
yeah,
story didn't really progress, but at the same time, I guess it's like this having this information is important for future progression
right.
of, like, their
It
story, I
was a
guess.
setup
Although
story.
it is m
Yeah,
yeah, it's, like, madly disappointing to have this really cool setup of Dane and Kaya in the same
right.
quest for them to literally just have, like, 2 sentences, and then Kaya fucks off and doesn't even come back, and
Exactly.
then Dane is gone for the entire quest too. It was kind of
Yeah,
like in that sense maybe a bit of a letdown, but on another hand like it was a
yeah.
really interesting quest and like Ida or Clotar and his voice acting in English,
Oh my god, it was really good.
oh my
Yeah,
god, bro, it was so uncomfortable but like in such a good way.
yeah, it was really good. I usually play the game in Japanese, but
Mhm.
I played through it in English after I heard about his voice actor. So, yeah, it was
Mhm.
really really good
It was
performance.
so intense,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, so we learned a lot. We learned about this kind of concept of the sinner who is assumably the he that Dainslev was talking about. Um, and
Seems to imply that, yeah.
yeah, he seems to imply that. We don't know if that's what he's talking about actually, but or something that's
Mhm.
connected to that sinner, and
Mhm.
it can kind of see you through space time.
Somebody who's
Like,
watching us,
yeah, you're
yeah,
like
somebody's watching
you're
us.
in a memory, but it's your consciousness in the memory of your sibling, and yet you are seen for who
Mhm.
you are through that. And there is like a whole
Yeah.
implication that there is some really big dark force at work here that is watching you, and that Dane himself is kind of
Mhm.
scared of it, or like scared of interacting with you if he knows that you're being watched, or something. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So what are your thoughts on that?
It's interesting. I mean, on the one hand, like I think Roosevelt has posted a pretty good Care Bear video trying to like summarize general thoughts about what the crystal and who the sinner could be, but generally, like, I am leaning very strongly towards it just being Ermin, the old king who I guess
Mm-hmm.
succumbed to or wanted the like abyssal knowledge slash corruption and whatever. It especially falls in line with the whole like being washed by him thing, since generally Ermin in this game is kind of contrasted to Odin, right, from mythology.
Mm-hmm.
And like Norse mythology generally being very important to like the creation of Conria and Mond to an extent, where
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of parallels. And Odin had his little like ravens that gave him information about the world and whatever. And one of the things that I've been like pretty um angry, surprised in this game is the amount of like random shots of ravens during
Oh
events and during
yeah.
things that are happening,
Yeah.
right? Like they just like they don't really have much to do with anything, but sometimes the screen will just pan out and there will be a raven sitting there. So like for a long time I was wildly confused about that because ravens, I think for the first time as a bird, they show up in like Inazuma,
Mm-hmm.
I believe, and then based on I think Raiden's story or video or something, um, they do seem to be like associated with Yae a little bit, which has always been really like odd to me because I don't think she should be associated with ravens, but there do seem to be like some imagery of them being connected. But at the same time, if you back up even further, like it makes a lot more sense for that to be like an Ermin slash Odin connection because that's like actually a thing that he had in mythology. You
Right.
also have like Oz being a raven who is acting as the eyes for Fischl as well to like kind of reinforce, I guess, the fact that they are aware of that particular mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I don't know. I think that it's Ermin. I know a lot of people have been saying Deshret because of the like purple crystal representing him in his video,
Right.
but I do think genuinely that it is just meant symbolically to represent corruption rather than him specifically. Plus, I would be incredibly fucking angry if Deshret's story that has wrapped up literally thousands of years before gets brought back because somehow he's back and he's in Conria. Like, that would actually end me. Because he has like a really good story in Sumeru
Yeah.
thousands of years ago with Ruka Devata and the Goddess of Flowers and like
Mm-hmm.
the oasis and
Lillipore
all
and
of
like
that
all
and
that
the
stuff.
Jinn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like he's got like, he's there. That's his storyline and I think it's good and it's done. He doesn't need to be brought back from 500 years ago and also influence Conria and like whatever happened there.
Yeah, I
So,
also
yeah.
watched a few theory videos and also landed on kind of hopping onto the airman train,
Mhm.
so to speak. And
Yeah, I'm on Team Ermin.
team Ermin, team Ermin or Deshret, team Ermin. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's really interesting. I never really heard about the Odin with the ravens thing though. So that's pretty cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I guess it's just like what are their names? Moonin and Hugin.
Mhm.
Basically, yeah, they're. I don't. I mean, I've never been super into Norse mythology. It's not one of my hyperfixations, I guess.
Okay.
But like, yeah, I'm like vaguely aware that he has like, yeah, he's just got ravens, and they're like his messengers basically, and they will like watch things
Yeah,
and
and they
like,
can like travel through
yeah, and
dimensions and stuff too, like through
something
the
probably
realms.
something like that,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, they
And he
can.
can definitely like see the world
Mm,
through them. So that's the thing. I mean, I guess Yai's always been a very suspicious character because she seems to almost be aware that like we're in a video game, which is like odd.
oh yeah, I love that though. I
But,
love like fourth wall breaking and like sort of
oh god.
implying fourth wall breaking and stuff. I love
I
that.
guess, yeah, it's a little bit weird, but yeah, I really do despise Yai, but like it would if she does have like this higher knowledge of this world, it would also make sense why she is sometimes being associated with ravens,
Right.
the way that like Odin slash Ermin is as well. Because like I guess Ermin's like imagery is way too Odin like. Those little statuettes from the chasm literally have like this old bearded man and like all those like braids and knots around him and an eye patch. Like
Mhm.
it's
It's
pretty
Odin.
is pretty yeah,
Yeah, like it's Odin. Like those are
they're
all Odin things. Like
yeah, yeah, they're really like laid on thick there. But yeah.
no, it's gender bend Beto
Oh my god.
with
What do you mean?
braids.
It's just Kaya's grandpa.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Like eye patches are hereditary, so obviously,
Yeah,
yeah.
obviously.
Uh,
Kaya and Beidou are actually cousins, and their adopted daughter is Fishel.
oh my gosh, that's amazing.
uh,
The dominant gene, right?
You just
So
get born with no sight in one eye. It is what it is.
so I wanted to talk a little bit about like 3.6. And like we don't know, we haven't gotten any like live stream or story trailers or anything like that yet. We're
Mhm.
still on the latter
Live
half
stream
of
is like
3.5.
a week and a half from now, I think.
Yeah,
2 weeks.
I think it's going to be in
Yeah.
about 2 weeks. So um
Mhm.
because we're starting the new banner what tomorrow or something. So
I think so, or
y-
Tuesday.
yeah, so
I think.
very soon, within the
Yeah.
next couple days.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to, and we did get drip marketed for Kave and Baizu. So I wanted to
Mhm.
hear your thoughts about Kave and Baizu as characters and what we know so far, and any thoughts or speculation you have about them that are
Ooh.
based off of what we know.
Ooh. I mean, I don't know how to start. With Baiju, he's always been a troublesome character for me because it's like Chi-Chi's story tells us that he doesn't love her, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
he can't give her orders, which like makes me so sad. How do you not love Chi-Chi? She's
Mm-hmm.
so fucking cute. How do you not adore her with your entire being? But like at the same time, like damn, I guess he doesn't have to. Like he treats her well, he takes care of her, like he's really nice to her in all of their
Mm-hmm.
interactions. And it's just kind of like, why don't you love her, you bastard? What's wrong with you? So it's like on
He
the one hand,
probably
like I
lost
don't even know if
50-50 to her way too many times, you know?
oh no. So like I don't know, it's like I think I will pull for him. I think I do want him. But at the same time it's just kind of like, sir, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Have you
So
heard
like
about
he's interesting.
have you heard
Mhm.
about his the theories for him with like his past? Have you heard about any of
I
those
don't
speculations?
think so. What kind of stuff is out there?
Like so there's that one quest in the chasm where you have to collect a bunch of memorabilia for like a statue. There's like 6 different places you have to go. The NPC guy tells you, "Oh, there's like the sky feather up here and the helm of warding over here and there's like
Ah, yeah,
you
yeah.
have to
Mhm.
collect those
Yes.
things to put them for the shrine
Oh
and it
yeah,
opens a
that
thing."
one. Ah.
Yeah. So
Mhm, mhm.
that quest was to honor a Millilith soldier who had fallen and lost control of all of his limbs. And
Mhm.
I don't remember if this was an Ashkai video or if it was some other content creator, but or there was 2 of them I watched, and of course there was this really old theory about Baiju being the Dendro Archon, and I think it's kind of really reaching because at the time because he was literally the only Dendro character we knew about, people are like he must be the Dendro Archon, but like no, he's not. But now we're what we do know is that he is a famous doctor in Liyue and he has a dendrovision, and he has a snake whose name it literally means like long life or eternal life, and
Mhm.
that he is obsessed with like medicine and trying to be healthy, and that his according to Chi Chi,
Well, I mean, he's super sick and dying,
yeah,
so
well, it's
he's
according
doing
to
his
Chi
best
Chi,
to
he's
survive.
like
Yeah.
his body is he is in worse condition than she is what she says,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so there's this like connection um that like that Millilith soldier that was honored with that gravesite who saved the other Millilith soldiers that day but lost
Mhm.
control of all of his limbs, who wanted to kill himself, was stopped by Zhongli, and he's like basically like, no, you should live, and then he's like, okay, and he got re-inspired to live, and
Okay,
then
sir.
apparently that guy went on to become a famous doctor in Liyue. So
Yeah, yeah, he
yes,
did.
so that
Yeah.
is there's a working theory there, um,
Yeah.
that is
So yeah, that
connected to
one
that.
I do remember finishing that and thinking, "Oh my God, Baiju!" But then at the same time, like that doctor also is somebody who lived like literally hundreds of years before, which doesn't like stop that from being Baiju because maybe he has found a way to extend
Mhm.
his lifespan,
Yeah.
but he's looking for immortality, which he
Yeah.
doesn't have. Like maybe he's just kind of artificially extending himself.
Yeah. And
I guess
maybe his
like
ambition has to do with that because like you know how Fischl
maybe.
and her ambition created Oz as her familiar, like it's very possible Chang
Hmm.
Sheng is a familiar for him from his Dendrovision.
Possibly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like all these theories, I'm just like because
Hmm.
we're gonna find this out very soon, right? Like we're gonna get this character.
I
We're
hope
gonna have
so.
we're gonna have most likely a story quest to go with him because we've had
Mhm.
without fail a story quest for like every 5-star character
Yeah.
in most
Unless
passes.
they like go the Sino route and they don't give us anything.
Well, I think it's because
And the
Sino was
story
like
quest is
part of the
him just
main
walking
thing.
around Liyue.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that would be terrible. But I mean, we would learn more about him at the very least, and so
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
We'd have
hoping
his like profile story too.
I'm like I like talking about this specifically because we know literally nothing about this character, and he's about to come
Yeah,
out.
it's not a lot at
You know
all.
what I mean? He like
Hmm.
he's one of those like oh like he's coming out now like this guy that we forgot
Yeah, it's
about,
2.5 years. It's about time he's on banner, I
right?
guess.
He is the literally the longest time that we've had to wait between seeing a character in game and then them being like a playable character in game
Hmm.
and then them being on a
Yep.
banner. Like that's the longest time so far.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I'm really curious to hear people's thoughts because as soon as he comes out, we'll know. You know, it's not like we're speculating like Celestia and stuff, which we're not gonna find out for
Yeah.
years. But like
Hmm.
Baizu, guy we know nothing about, comes out in like 2 weeks or something, 3 weeks, and
Four,
then
4 weeks,
four
I
weeks.
think. No,
Okay,
no,
so
no. Yeah,
no,
like
three
three,
weeks,
three
three
and a
weeks, right?
half.
Usually a
Yeah.
week after the live stream. And
Hmm.
yeah, and I'm just really curious to see how close we are to the mark, or is it just
Hmm.
totally different? So,
Yeah, I actually really do like the theory of him being that Millilith, a soldier who became a doctor, because it
hmm
kind of like it all works. And like with Chi Chi saying that she as a zombie is in better physical condition than he is,
hmm
it's like, I mean, we have a couple of examples. I guess it's like, for example, of Sayu, how she uses her animal powers to move her claymore because she like can't actually
hmm
do it herself. It is like reasonable to think that Baiju is moving himself with like his dendro power in
right,
some way.
yeah.
So
I love thinking about that because visions are still
yeah.
like really mysterious, and
Mhm,
it's really
mhm.
cool to
And
see
very
what they can do.
versatile too, right? Like Tenari gets his because he's like, I want vines so that I can reach fruit in a tree, and then he gets a vision, right? So it's like, okay, so he can like do that.
Yo, are we
So
gonna
yeah,
bring this
like
conversation back to Sucrose and how she got her vision,
oh god,
and then how she cooked it
please.
and it didn't work,
Oh my
and then she was like, okay,
god.
I guess I'll just keep it then. Oh
I
my
guess I'll
god,
just keep it Keck trying
freaking
to destroy hers because she's so mad and it's not working.
oh my god, yeah, it's just
Fuck this thing.
or like how Ningguang what like picked up an old vision, and you know
Yeah.
like it's so mysterious like how
Yeah, they're
I
all
oh my god I
weird.
went through the Inazuma quest again recently on my NA account and like how Kazuha's
Mhm.
friend's vision reactivated so that he could save the traveler
Mhm.
from the Hito no
Yeah.
Muso no Hitotachi.
Oh,
So cool.
yeah.
And I was like, oh my god, that was cool. I forgot how cool that was.
I
um
know, that's a good Idazuma's so dog shit, but their cutscenes are well made.
yeah, that was when it started like the quality started getting really up with the cutscenes and things. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like the cutscenes are awesome. Like it's a lot of action, fantastic. It's just kind of like, God damn, that story was really bad though, huh?
yeah. Oh, I like what Java said in the chat. Lisa went, I need a vision, and it appeared.
Yeah. She's like, I want to study visions. Oh, there's one.
Boom.
Wonderful.
Yeah, like so yeah, so I'm
Lisa the
really
goat.
curious to see how we hear about Baiju. I know a lot of people are saying that
Mhm.
I'm sorry. After we
Don't worry.
learned about you got to experience Scaramouche getting his vision. Like that was really cool. Like to see like his
Mhm.
ambition like basically become materialized in front of him after
Yeah,
everything we went through,
yeah.
we learned about it, which is like
Oh,
well,
it's
you know part of
beautiful.
we're going to talk about Scaramouche in a second, but like the whole
Mhm.
why Hoyoverse really loves and put a lot of time and thought into this character and how his story has
They
progressed,
made
right?
Genshin Impact for
Yeah,
Scaramouche and
it's
then
like
made the game
Scaramouche
around him.
impact, so
Yeah.
yeah. um
For real.
So yeah, it's really great. I can't wait to hear more about that. I'm excited to see about Baiju. But before we move on to
Mhm.
talking about Scaramouche, Kaveh, what are your thoughts on Kaveh?
Kaveh! Oh my god, I love Kaveh. He is so like I instantly fell in love with him just because of how incredibly expressive he is. I feel like he really stands out as a character that they give so much movement to his body and his face whenever he talks. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's so funny. I love him so fucking
He's
much.
so animated. I love it.
And those stupid interactions with him and Haytham on the boards and whatever. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god, it's so goddamn ridiculous. He's so silly. I don't understand how he got so giga scammed that he made a palace for Dory and then ended up poorer because of it. But like
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
Kaveh, live your life, I
I
guess.
I'm really curious about it. Like, I really hope they
I
just
want
like
to know what she
I
did.
I really wonder. I think it would be really cool if they just gave us a Kaveh hangout day one. Like, I really
Yeah,
want to see
immediately.
like more about that because like
I
that whole
say as I
thing.
have literally done no hangouts, but like,
I mean, you got to start
yeah,
somewhere, right? Kaveh, and
uh,
just so you know,
there's no
objectively,
time.
the Sumeru hangouts, Inazuma and Onward hangouts are like much higher quality than the older ones.
Hmm.
And I would probably start, so I started doing hangouts recently because of the
Hmm.
podcast, right? Like I also just kind of left them in the background. But
Yeah.
they happen um in kind of chronologically with when they're released. So
Yeah,
it's kind of important to
as
do them
much as I would like to
soon.
stay on top of them,
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's just like time.
Yeah, no.
I can barely get through like World Quest together with my chat who is determined to distract me at all times. Hangouts are too much. The only one I've done for the most part is Barbara's. I
Right.
did and like rather enjoyed it. Like she is kind of like a character that I guess it she's more interesting than she appears. So I
Mm.
did like that, and then the only other thing I've done is like one version of Hazel because I love him so much I had to do it immediately, and that was really, really good. But yeah, everything else I'm like, I have no idea. I have not done the hangouts.
Yeah, cuz
Maybe one
I
day.
started doing the hangouts for like Ningguang and Beidou, and I was like they're basically talking as if it was happening right after the Archon quest or whatever it was, or like the Lantern Rite or whatever was happening at that time.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ningguang's was like when she got the costume. Like so
Mhm.
that was like she got the costume in her hangout, and I was like, damn, like
Okay.
I wish I did this when that came out, and I
Oh,
started thinking
damn.
about that. Yeah, so there's
Okay.
stuff like
I thought
that.
that the hangouts were a little bit more like could happen at any time type
No,
things,
see
but
that's
they're
what I'm
actually
saying. They're
pretty
not.
specific.
Yeah, they actually
Damn
happen
it.
when they come
Fuck.
out. Yeah, so or
Oh
at
no.
least the ones I did, which are like
Mhm.
um Ningguang and Beidou and Toma's, like they happened like when they came out. Like it was that much apparent at least from the stories. So yeah, I'd probably say they're worth doing when they come out. I haven't done Farazan's yet. I really want to try. I've only done like five,
I've heard
so
that Farazan's is quite good too.
yeah, like the quality has been
People
going
seem
up,
to be
is what I
loving
heard.
it.
So
Yeah. Like I know nothing about Farazan, but I love her already. She's just so fucking funny. I
yeah, oh
want the
my god.
help of an elder. What? Speak up. I can't hear you. I'm so old.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
I love her so much.
yeah, I usually play with Japanese voices, and she basically like the way she talks, because I speak Japanese too, by the way.
Mhm.
And the way she talks is like an old person, and it's just really funny because she'll use that like
Yeah.
really ancient Japanese kind of talking, even though she's only
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
hundred
yeah.
years older. But yeah, it's really funny.
I mean, like speech in Japan now versus 100 years ago is pretty majorly different.
It
So like
is. But I
that
mean,
kind of
I'm
makes
pretty
sense.
sure she goes
Yeah.
like a little older,
Even
because
further. Oh my
yeah,
god.
because I mean, yeah, Genshin as a whole isn't like modern, right? Like modern.
Mhm.
So like maybe some characters don't talk as modern naturally. So but it is
Yeah.
really fun to listen to her talk to people and tell them like you should be calling me senpai. Like what are you doing? Like you're younger than me. I'm older than you. Like yeah, so it's really funny.
Uh,
But
no, she's hilarious. I fell in love with Miku right away.
yeah, yeah. Okay, yes. Okay. Very clear inspirations there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I love
Uh
that we okay, so I picked Ether because he looked like Len, and
oh wow.
Lumine just kind of looks like a very bland Rin. It's super boring.
Doesn't even have a
Um,
bow.
then Yeah, right? Like, she was just, like, the most I don't know, I actually really don't care for Lumine's design. Like, she's cute, but, like, that's it. It's kind of really bland compared to Aether's, I think. But, yeah, I picked him because he looks like a Len. Now we have Mika that looks even more like Len coming
What
out.
we
We have
need
Miku,
is a kite. We need a
Charizard.
Kaito-esque
We need
character.
Kaido, yes!
Yeah, that's what we
Oh
need.
my goodness. I love Kaido, he's my favorite Vocaloid.
Yeah,
I
he's
need
my favorite too.
Kaido.
Yeah, he's my favorite for sure.
Oh,
I
yes!
I, I like
Oh,
Luca
good, good,
too,
good.
but
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, I really like, whenever somebody knows how to use Kaido, oh my god, he sounds so good. But yeah, no, I need more Vocaloids so I can have my whole Vocaloid squad.
Yeah, I'm down. We got Miku in there. We need some more.
Yeah. Keep doing it, MiHoYo, keep ripping off Krypton. You'll never get caught.
Yeah. Oh, we'll throw our money at you. Don't worry.
Mhm, mhm.
Um. Oh man, I can't wait. Like this is totally a side thing, but like I can't wait till we get more costumes in game. Like just more
Yes.
more aesthetic stuff,
I'm
please.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that they don't put out skins more frequently. Like, it's such an easy way for them to make a fuckload more money. Just like every patch release 2 skins.
Now all of
It
their
can't
work goes into Honkai. That's why.
I guess, but, like, I mean, they have, like, a different, like, setup there where they have to redesign characters each
Mm-hmm.
time because they just have that set of characters, right, that they keep
Right. That's true.
re-releasing.
That's true.
But, like, yeah, I really wish there were more skins in this game, and they could, like, make it so much simpler. Like, they could have just, like, little amendments to existing skins, like
Yeah.
color fixes or changes or whatever, and it could be, like, cheap, but, like,
Yeah.
you
Give me
know,
Red Shao. Did you hear
yeah,
about
or
that?
something. Yeah, 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 the concept art.
Yeah. Yeah. I want Red
Yeah,
Shao.
no, he looks cool. I think I like the green one better.
Oh,
It
for
does,
sure.
like,
But
look
I would
him
use the
more.
Red Shao and then just like use a
Yeah.
pyro team with him so he can keep swirling pyro to make it look like it makes
Oh
sense.
my god. Just put him on C6 Bennett and
Oh, there
don't
you go.
ult because you don't
Yeah.
wanna hurt him. Yeah, mhm, mhm.
Okay. Yeah. So great. So Baiju, Kave, we have so much stuff to look forward to in
Mhm.
the next patch. But since you, Owlet, your favorite character is
No,
Scaramouche.
we don't have to, we can just keep going
No, this is
with
this is the keep
anything.
going. This is the keep going. And it's like let's talk about Scaramouche. Okay, let's talk about the Wanderer. Now just
Passes out, my
tell me
love.
no, don't pass out. We need you for 30 more minutes. Um what what else like what do you want to share with everybody? What do you love about Wanderer, Scaramouche, and just talk and we'll see where it goes.
Everything, everything. Oh my god, I love everything. I love that this is Scaramouche Impact and that they wrote the whole game just to put him out into the world because they have this beautiful, amazing character.
Okay,
But,
expand on
like, I
that.
guess yeah, yeah, I guess, like, to be more serious about it, one of my favorite things about him, apart from the fact that he's, like, super relatable to me, is, like, how foiled he is with a whole bunch of characters, Kazuha and Albedo mainly. So, like, I think the, like, comparison between him and Kazuha is probably fairly clear and obvious, right? Because they have, like, some similar motivations, and then they're, like, kind of contrasted in the way that they deal with them, where Skara's, like, gets really hung up on the ways that he has been wronged, and then goes on to, like, become very angry and vengeful because of it, whereas Kazuha, like, oh, the beauty of this being that, like, Kazuha's was passed on teaching from, like, his grandpa to live in the present instead of the past, which is a lesson that he learned specifically from his interaction with Scaramouche, who
Mm,
was hell-bent on revenge, right?
right.
So it's like, oh, it's so beautiful to me that it just, like, specifically Skara's vengeance is what taught the Kadahara family to live in the present instead of the past and to move on past things
Mhm.
instead of, like, seeking revenge for them even if it might be justified. Um, so that's really nice. They're kind of, like, contrasted that way where, like, Kazuha has also gone through a lot of bullshit, but, like, is obviously handling it better because of those lessons. And, like, Skara just didn't have anyone to teach him that.
Right. A lot of that
So
Kazuha stuff we get to experience in limited time events, but yes.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Kazuha. I know people I'm starting it's like I've been really salty about all this lore being in limited time events, honestly, but I'm, like, shockingly getting tired and angry at it now. At this point, I'm just kind of like, "You know what? Sure, whatever." Like
Like you had to be there.
It's engaging. Yeah, like you just had to be there. Like I can't believe you haven't been playing this game since day one and doing literally everything. Hello, come on.
Yeah, come
How
on.
could you not do this?
Slacking
It was like
much.
a random Yeah, it was a random, not necessary conversation at the end of an event like 2.5 years ago. How could you not know?
Oh, unreconciled stars.
Oh, Unreconciled Stars was so good. Oh my god. I cried so much. The first time I fell in love with Scaramouche is when they posted the Unreconciled Stars art, and I saw him in the background, and he
Oh
was a
yeah.
teeny tiny little figure with the big hat, and I was like, that. I love
He's the
that.
one
Whatever
for
that
me.
design is, beautiful. Yeah, like he's the one. I love him. And then like he actually gets introduced in the story, and I'm like, oh, tears pouring down my face. Like it's never
It's
been the
never been the
same
same
since.
since.
True, very true. But it was just like it was so I don't know. His introduction was just really good because like he comes in and he's like super friendly. He's like so happy. He's like, "Oh hey guys, I'm just a vagrant from Inazuma. Oh, I just noticed somebody was in trouble. I just came here to help. Oh no. Oh geez. Oh okay, you guys have the mill helping you. Oh that's wonderful. The authorities are to be trusted. I'm just gonna go on my way now."
Yep.
Like he was so fucking cute and so friendly and like so nice, and then you get that dramatic reveal of him being the harbinger, and then his voice just drops and he's like instantly so cold and uncaring, and I'm like
Wow.
wait. Sweats a little bit. Like I love you already, but like this is even better. Oh my god, Hypatia felt the same way about him. So fun fact, Hypatia was actually based on me.
Oh
Mihoyo
my
looked at
god.
me and my stream and they put me in the game and named her Hypatia, which is why her name sounds like Alpasia, which is, like
I'm sorry. Hold up. Back up. What?
Alpasia, right? It fits.
Alpasia.
It's
Oh yeah.
perfect.
Alpasia. Oh yeah. 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 I remember.
Yeah, yeah, it's just
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
It's me
You
for
know,
real.
Owlet, Hypatia. Tomato, tomato. You know how it is.
Exactly. It's like the same thing. But yeah, one of my favorite lines I think in this game to this day, I don't think anything will ever top the fact that official ranted at him for like a 5 minute like speech,
Mm-hmm.
and Skara's response is excuse me. And like reading the lore that came out for him later in the Husk set that said he will literally backhand people in like his subordinates if they talk too much because he doesn't like that. It was like, wow, what a show of self-control that he didn't just kill Facial on the
Right.
spot.
He didn't just like pimp slap her like in the
He
face.
didn't just like he wasn't just like, nope, this isn't worth it and killed her. Like when he would literally like backhand his subordinates for daring to ask a question.
That's
So
great.
yeah, see, there we go. So you say Hoyo owes Al royalties for Alpasia and Al Haytham. No, they really do. They
I'll
took my
hate them.
entire personality. Yeah,
Okay.
I
Okay.
hate Haytham because
I get
he's
it.
me. I hate that man with a burning passion. His personality is identical to mine.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
Horrifying. Oh my goodness. But but yeah, so that is Skara. God, I could go on for so long. But yeah, okay, sorry, where was I? The foiling of
Yes.
Scaramouche and
So
Kazuha. Okay, I guess
Kazaha.
so, like we've kind of gone through that. But one of the more interesting things, I guess, not to say that that isn't interesting, but another interesting thing that I have always been rambling about with Skara is the way that he's kind of a foil to Albedo, and Albedo being like somebody who's obviously like really really important to the plot, like made with Conry and Kimia and all of that. But like it's always been really interesting to me how like especially after the second Dragon Spine event, that we know that Albedo is the final result of a bunch of prototypes
Mm-hmm.
versus Skara, who is the initial prototype and was the one who was thrown away. The way that like Albedo wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's an interesting one because there's like that whole the whole scenario between Albedo and the first Albedo is how like the first Albedo is obviously like salty and jealous that Albedo gets to have a life, but he was thrown away. He was fed to Durin,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he kind of like almost wants to replace him and take his place because like that's what he wants for himself.
Amazing event, by the way.
Another thing. um, is just how what's it is. Scaramouche basically spends his entire life and existence wishing for a heart. Like one of his major things is that he wants a heart,
Mm,
whatever form that may be in. Like for a long time, he thinks that's the gnosis. Like maybe that's a thought process that has changed for him. But in general, what he is searching for in his life is a heart. But what he actually gets during his life is knowledge of the world. Like he's the first character to tell us that the sky is fake and the stars are fake, which is
right.
like knowledge given to him by Piero, basically. Um, so in his search for a heart, he doesn't find one, but he finds the truth of the world. Whereas Albedo is dropped off in Mondstadt by Rhine and told to find the truth of the world, which he hasn't done yet, but he has instead found arguably a heart and like a family, right?
Right.
Like I guess like I don't know if it maybe I don't know if it's like a weird interpretation, but the fact that Albedo has found a family and like a home to me is kind of like finding a heart at least because it doesn't have to be like a physical object, right?
Right, of course.
So like yeah, so it's always been really interesting to me how they're kind of like these both created beings, but kind of like on different sides of the spectrum where one of them is a prototype and the other one's the final product, and then one of them like they have found what the other one wants,
Yeah, so they're
and that I think
like
is
almost
interesting.
like
Yeah.
yin yang esque sort of contrast where they're like
Mhm.
opposites. Like one has one thing that the other doesn't have, and they
Yeah.
kind of keep circling around each other like that as the more we find out
Yeah,
about both
kind of,
characters, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
that's
mhm.
pretty
Like, the
interesting.
2 of them are both yeah, the 2 of them are searching for something that they have not found, but the other person has actually found. So, like, I really hope that one day we actually do get to have them meet and interact. Obviously, first Kazuha and Skara need to meet and interact, but Skara and Albedo would also be fascinating because, like, oh, the things they could share with each other.
Oh, the places they'll go.
Yes. Oh, created beings. So close to my heart. He has Al's heart. Yes, he does. Gucci, you're right. He absolutely does. But
So,
so
mm,
yes.
yeah. So since you've gotten Scaramouche in as like a
Mm-hmm,
playable character,
mm-hmm.
um, I mean, how is he? Have you built him up? Like, do you like flying around?
Oh
Like,
yeah,
how
yeah,
is
yeah.
it?
Oh my gosh, he's beautiful. Okay, so I saved myself entirely for Skara because I knew that he would come out as playable one day. They don't give us like playable character models without actually making the character playable. So I
Senora?
saved myself for like oh well, she's not a playable character model. She's also still alive, and I
Oh,
will die on that hill.
oh, I see. I see what you mean. Like a playable character model that fits in like the
Yeah,
existing
yeah,
ones. Okay, okay. I mean,
yeah, with
hopefully they
like the
add more
actual
in the
existing
future,
ones.
though.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
hopefully. Yeah, yeah. Oh, for sure.
we're the little
But yeah,
boys.
so
I mean the baby
the
boys. Like
maybe rephrase that.
the sorry, baby boys.
Yeah, I hope one day. I mean, like, look, they're. I guess the company is weebs, so they only want the little girls. But hopefully, we get like playable Timmy one day. The dream.
Oh
Give
yeah.
me like a little cat boy sibling
Oh
for Diona. I think
what's
that
his
would be
name?
so fucking cute.
Child's younger brother, Helser,
Tooster.
Toolser, Tooser. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He can be. He can also. Man, him and Timmy should just transform and summon a ruin guard.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, yeah.
maybe a time skip one day, and then Tooster and Timmy become playable. I don't know.
Oh my
I
god,
mean,
time
what is it
skip.
like? Tooster is supposed to kill Ajax, right? That's the legend.
Oh, there you go.
We shall see. But yeah, so I saved myself for a long time. I didn't ascend any characters at all past 80. I leveled a couple to 80 before I knew that it was kind of like pointless if you weren't ascending at the start of the game. So I played for over 2 years with just level 70 characters the entire time
Oh
because I
my
didn't ascend
goodness.
anyone because that was going to be Scaramouche.
Wow.
He was going to be the first one I ascend, first level 90, first triple crown.
Oh, you wanted him
And
to be
then
your
I
first.
also
I see.
absolutely first in everything, yeah. And then I also saved basically I buy Welkin and Battle Pass every patch.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Like after the first couple of months of the game, I haven't swiped more than that. So I've just been saving for a really long time to C6 him, which is what I did.
You
So
see
I ended
six
up
him?
saving like yeah, I C6'd him because I had saved like 140,000 gems.
From like not paying, like from just playing.
From no, 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 from Welkin and BP as
From
well, but
Welkin
like
BP, and then
not
no
yeah,
buying
not
directly.
pack no, yeah, no buying of packs or anything like that. So the very first Kazuha banner, I went down to 0 trying to get him because I needed Kazuha, obviously.
Right.
So I started off at 0 there from Kazuha's banner, and then like I pulled everything that I wanted in between Skara coming out, but like saved 140,000 gems for him.
Wow.
Thankfully, everything that was between Kazuha and Skara was like not really worth it. It was Inazuma characters, and I hate most of them.
There you
Like
go.
they are insufferable. So actually Inazuma made it really, really easy for me to save my gems. So yeah, when he came out, I C6'd him, I got his weapon, and yeah, no, he's amazing. He's beautiful. Every day that I don't use him because I'm like doing friendship on somebody else, like I'm upset because I miss him. And his playstyle is actually really fun to me. I really like it.
Oh my god.
It's a lot of fun. Like I know it's just a lot of like right clicking and whatever, but because I
Uh-huh.
have him C6, I'm able to weave in the dashes a lot more
Yeah.
effectively. Unfortunately, that's something that like lower constellations just can't do,
Mhm.
I guess. But like yeah, so it's really fun just kind of like zooming around and bonking things. And obviously he stays up in the air for a lot longer
Yeah.
at C6 than he does at like C0, so that's nice. I did play him for like a week or so at just C0 just
Mhm.
to kind of like test it out to see how it goes, and like he's definitely a super strong character at C0, but
Mhm.
like damn, the other cons are like pretty
I
crazy.
mean C6, even C1 is like I have C1 on my Asia account. Like the
Mhm.
attack speed buff is nice.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah, no, it really is.
yeah,
And then like having the weapon too.
I
Mhm.
had a like a like kind of like a poll. I had a dilemma like in my community. I was trying to figure out I have two NA accounts. Like on my Asia
Mhm.
account, on that Hoyoverse account, I have like if I choose America as the server, that's one account. And then I made a totally separate account so that I could have another America account. And the reason I did this
Mhm.
initially was because I wanted to play on PlayStation, and in PlayStation only lets you use one account per region. So I couldn't play on the same account just switching to Asia and America like you can on PC. So
Mhm.
I had one account where I would just like randomly sometimes sign in, and I rolled a couple times, and I accidentally happened to get uh Chi Chi, Hu Tao, Al Haitham, and Diluc. And this is like an
Mhm.
AR 28, right? Like
Sheesh.
very low
Oh
level.
my god.
But I had another account where at the time I was convinced that I was going to use this America account. And so I rolled on my birthday for Scaramouche, and I got
Oh,
Scaramouche, and it's just
nice.
C0. This is my like secondary account, right?
Mhm.
Like my main is Asia. So
Mhm.
I have, and I lost the first 50-50 to
Oh
Mona.
god.
So
Mhm.
I have two accounts, America accounts.
Garamona Ayo.
AR30 from that have one that has Alhaitham, Diluc, Chi-Chi, and Hu Tao, and then another account that has Scaramouche and Mona, and then like
Mhm.
no 4 stars for like whatever reason. Like literally, I got
You
like
just got
6
those 2,
Barbaras
yep.
and Xianglings, and like I never got any other characters.
Mhm.
So I had to decide like which account I wanted to keep and keep going with because I need to
Mhm.
have an America account caught up. And so I ultimately decided,
I see the Scar one.
yeah, I ultimately decided on the Skara one because
Mhm.
his traversal is so useful. And
Yes,
doing
yeah, yeah.
world puzzles, you can skip some world puzzles. I have a video where I just like skip one world puzzle in the desert because you're supposed to
Mhm.
activate these these animo statues behind like a barrier, but like Scaramouche's
Mhm.
charge attack just goes straight through the
Yeah,
barrier.
he just goes through it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I just like I don't regret it. Like I have like an account sitting there that has like Alhaitham, Hu Tao, Diluc, and Chi Chi that I'm not using, and
Mhm.
then I have like this
Yeah.
skirmish account I've been leveling up, and it's so worth it because, um, like he is
He's so
so
fun,
good. He's
yeah.
fun. He's like
Mhm.
if you don't have all the statues and you don't have a lot of stamina, like using his flying around to get around to let your
Yeah,
stamina
oh my
recharge
god.
while you're moving around,
Mhm.
it's amazing. Like I
Yeah, he's one of
cannot
those
recommend him
characters,
more than.
like rare characters that is fun in gameplay, like in terms of like actually battling, but also super fun and useful in the overworld too.
Mm-hmm.
Like getting around with him is fantastic. Like climbing cliffs, I've never heard of it. I just fly up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like cliffs, I can
or
fly, right?
You need yeah, like, you need to cross, like, a body of water. Imagine getting your feet wet, can't be me. I just fly across.
Oh my god, I love it. Yeah, but dang,
Oh my
I
goodness.
should totally tune into your stream or something sometime to see your C6 Scaramouche because I
Oh,
have not
he's
seen.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be fair though, like my stream most of the time is just like lore and story stuff, so I'm usually just running around doing story and it's not a
Oh,
lot of fighting. Every once in a while I'll do Abyss, but like at the same time I'm too distracted by chat and Abyss
I
becomes a
see.
little yeah, a little annoying when I'm at the same time trying to like talk to people. But yeah. I mean like sometimes the battle events we go through, so that's pretty fun. But yeah, no, he's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Definitely highly recommend.
Yeah. You should. We should do
Ask how
weeklies,
to do weeklies with for you.
or like we'll go into a domain and I'll just like watch you solo the whole domain. That would be fun.
Oh my god. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, look, he does need supports, obviously, but like, yeah, if you just like come in with me into a domain and you hype me up with like a
With Farzan,
Farzan
yeah, I
and then
got
like
you.
yeah, any like choice of buffers, like I don't really care who you're bringing. Like you have a Diona with like Noblesse, sure, sexy. You have like a C4 Jeed, incredible, bring her. You have a Bennett, bring
Oh
him.
yeah, I
Like
have all
anybody,
those.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Yunjin, fantastic. Yo, just like hype me up and we'll get through it. I stand there with Layla sleeping and shield.
That's good. That's
I
good.
still don't have Layla.
Yeah,
I
I'm so
want her.
happy because my Scaramouche team has C4 Jean and Farzan
Mhm.
and Bennett.
Ah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it's really really nice to do. Um,
I yeah. I my Scara pulls were incredibly average and like statistically normal,
mhm.
but I still don't have C4 Jean. I got two of her on that banner actually, so I'm
Oh
at
wow.
C3 now. I'm waiting for one more. But yeah, I also went through the entire Scara banner C6ing him, and I did not get a Kuting. I didn't have one until later. I got her on
Oh
Chao's rerun when I was going for his C1.
wow.
So that was interesting.
Yeah, I definitely didn't have Mona until like a year and Mona or D-Luke like almost 2 years into the game in general, and I spent money on stuff. So like it was like
Yeah.
just shows you, you know. So I really this is just like quick side thing. I love Dia.
Mhm.
Okay, like I love Dia's character and her. I know
Mhm.
people hate her and all this stuff, whatever.
She's my favorite incel. Yeah.
Yeah, so she's like, you know how she's going to the standard banner and everyone's
Mhm.
like, oh, just skip her. I'm like, look, if you want her you should roll now because you may not ever see her. Like there's no, just because someone's on the standard banner and there's a chance of you getting them does not mean you will
Yeah.
ever see them ever. So
I
um
literally had like C1 Tahnari within like 3 months of his release, and I still didn't have a Kuching at all.
yeah,
Like
see.
I thought that I wanted her. Like I do like her character, and I had her skin and whatever. But like the
Hmm.
way I got her was like so horrific, that I don't really want to play her
Oh,
anymore.
like it
Cause she like
she lost your 50-50.
yeah, I lost her my 50-50 to her at like 82.
But the way, but it sounds like the way you wish, she would
Uh,
never come at a time where you want her because like she's, you have to lose the 50-50 to get her.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is like no, she could come on standard banner and I would
Oh,
appreciate
that's
her.
true.
But
That's
yeah,
true. Yeah,
like
yeah.
no, I never wanted her from. I never wanted to lose to anybody because yeah, that means I'm losing, right? Like that's unacceptable.
That's kind of how I felt with the like when I was trying to roll for Scaramouche on my birthday and I got Mona instead. I was like, I don't even want to play Mona. Forget this. Like,
Yeah,
I love
and
Mona, but then I hated
Kazuha
her.
bullies me on every single one of his banners too. I always lose.
Oh
I'm
no.
like Kazuha, I love you, please, and he's like, no, you have to prove it.
He's like, drop the wishes, drop them.
Jonathan, open your wallet. Like,
Oh, fine, swipe.
Kazu, please. I'm hoping to C6 him next.
Oh,
I have
nice.
like no gems anymore though because after pulling Scara, I like went batshit and I spent the next like 3 patches pulling on the weapon banner. So now I have a fuckload of weapons too, which is like
Wow,
really
that's
nice,
nice.
but
Yeah.
also no gems.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that I can still. I have only like 5,000 right now, so I need Mika, and then I'm gonna need
Oh yeah,
Baiju and
Mika.
Kave. So I hope they're second half, so I can like save a little bit more.
Oh yeah, well,
It's painful.
we'll see,
Like
right?
if I need to, I'll swipe. Sure, like
It's
I can afford a
I'm
swipe every
assuming
once in a
I'm gonna
while,
assume
but
it's like
I don't want
Baiju
to.
and then Kave. feel like they're gonna be separate.
Yeah, my hopes and my dreams are that they're together because that
Mm-hmm.
would just make it
Oh
easier
yeah,
for
way
me. But
easier.
like, yeah, generally, like unless Kave's supposed to be Baiju's like dedicated support, they usually put those kind of characters
Exactly.
separately to
Yeah.
like encourage bullying. Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah. So
I
right
could dream.
now we don't. It's really we're at a really interesting part right now because we're about to go to Fontaine, and we don't know anything about Fontaine and the characters that are gonna be there. Like we're
Hmm.
at a point where like for example Baiju and even like 1.1 reconciled unreconciled stars event, like we saw Scaramouche, we saw Baiju, we saw so many characters way before they were available to be playable, and we could
Hmm.
we could do things like you said,
Dang
like we could
Swift.
wait, you could I mean Dane's left, so Dane's left is the only one, right? Like
Yeah.
that we could wait for, like if someone wanted to do what you're doing right now where you're like, oh, Scaramouche, I want to save up for him, like we don't have anyone to do that for except Dane's left, like because everybody else
I
will be
guess,
released,
yeah,
right?
because we
So
don't know them yet.
yeah,
I
so it's
mean,
like who are
I'm
you
really
excited
used to
for?
playing gacha games, so
Mm-hmm.
this is super easy for me. Like, I know a lot of people complain. I was like, "Oh, it's not free to play friendly, and it can't pull everybody." Like, okay, but it's not meant to be.
Right,
First of
right.
all, like gacha games, that is not their purpose is not to give you every single character for free.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I do think that there's a lot of people who like maybe don't understand that,
Yeah,
or they
this is
just
this is
like
many people's
pick.
first gotcha game.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. It's a
and
little frustrating sometimes where they're like, "Oh, it's like really like Genshin is so mean and super not generous." Like, no, it's actually one of the most generous gacha games I've
by
ever
far,
played, and I've been playing like different ones for like 10 years. They give you like free to play gems worth of like 70 to 75 pulls every single patch. Like you can get a 5-star per patch free to play.
yeah, and you can just get
And
some
like
from opening
that's
treasure chests and doing this and doing that
yeah,
and Spiral
and it's
Abyss,
like
and it's
that's
like
like unheard of in
yeah,
other gacha games. Like they will fucking empty your wallet if you want every character, or like if you want a character every single update.
yeah.
Absolutely no
There
way are
there
you
are
not paying.
games it is impossible to get a character guaranteed unless you save up for over a year. Like there are games like that,
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
you can still
if it's
lose.
just one copy, that's not like I
Yeah,
saved for a bit over a year, and like I mean I oversaved because I didn't end up spending everything that I had saved for Scara, but I was able to C6 him, like saving for approximately a year, maybe less. That's 7 copies of him. Getting one copy of one thing in other games takes like a year and a half
yeah,
sometimes.
it's insane.
Mm.
So
Ugh.
yeah, I mean, like, so I was gonna say, like, is there any character that you are excited for in the future, or like, is there some part of the lore that you are really excited to see that is coming
Ooh.
probably soon? Like, what are you excited for right now in
I
Genshin?
mean, I am actually really, really looking forward to Fontaine because all of the NPCs that we have gotten from Fontaine have been hilarious. Like, they are so great, and I really, really like them.
Mm,
Although, like, I guess there is a bit of an argument to be made that, like, a lot of the time in this game, the NPCs are more interesting than the playable characters. So that could be like, I could be setting myself up for disappointment.
mm-hmm.
But Fontaine sounds really interesting because, like, one, okay, so I love Ace Attorney, and
Same.
since Ace Attorney is like the best game ever made, and Fontaine
Damn.
seems to be set up as like as they have like that spectacle of like the courtroom stuff going on. So I'm
Yeah.
really hoping that they kind of incorporate Ace Attorney type shit
Objection.
into it because I think that would be hilarious. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. I guess they're hinting at like energy and class problems in
Mm-hmm.
Fontaine, so I'm interested to see how that plays out. But then also, like, I think a lot of people are theorizing that the Hydra Archon might look like Sele from
Oh yeah.
Honkai, and
Yep.
like I played Honkai for a bit. Like, it's bad. Don't play it, everybody. Don't go in there.
It's bad in what
But
like
Sele was
it's
like,
what way?
it was just like, okay, so the story is really fucking bad. Everything about it is so incredibly unoriginal and tropey. It's like almost frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's like there's it's one thing to like play around with tropes and make references. It's another to make the entire story just that, which I found really frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
Like characterization is poor, design of characters is incredibly disrespectful and bad. Can't trust a game where the playable characters are only female. Like I just it's not trustable. I know what the devs are doing and what it's for.
LOL.
Um
So
The combat is good. Like the
so
combat
have
is
you
fun,
have you seen anything from
but
like Honkai Star Rail?
yeah, I'm actually looking forward to
Yeah,
Star
it's
Rail. It
very,
looks really
very, very
interesting. Yeah,
good, and the storytelling is
yeah.
very different, obviously, because I played
Mhm.
Honkai to a certain point, and I got kind of bored of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
so
and
boring.
the thing is though, the story gets kind of nuts from what I've seen. Like they have all these things with like pocket universes and alternate dimensions and the
Mhm.
end of time, and somehow it all actually ties to Genshin in some way, but um, you know,
I mean, it doesn't really.
not
I think
directly,
people are,
not directly,
yeah,
just
like
just
people are
like
manufacturing connections just
yeah.
because it's more like references rather than like actual real
Right. Which is
connections.
what they do in all their
But, like,
games. If you do a little bit of research, like how their main character always kind of looks the same. There was always like a character that looks like the unknown god from Genshin, like Kiana from
yeah,
Honkai.
yeah. But again, I mean, like it's just kind of references. It's like
Right,
how
exactly.
directors will put movie posters of their works into other movies. Like it doesn't.
Right.
It's not like some sort of deep lore
Yeah.
concept of like, oh, then this director must be real in this movie's world or something.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like it's the same company, so they're referencing stuff.
And
But yeah, at least like Star Rail,
mhm,
with what the designs that I've seen so far for the characters are
mhm,
just so much better. They're like obviously like the female characters, for example, are like attractive, and
yeah.
some of them, like
And the
Himiko, for
male
example,
characters are
are
so
sexy.
cool. I really, really
Yeah, and
like
they're
them.
so
Oh my
cool. And
god.
it's like, yeah, and then like they look good, but it's like not disrespectful. It's not like fetishy in the way
Right.
that Honkai is. It's like genuinely good design.
Right, which is what
So
I
I'm really
think
looking
that they
forward to
shifted
Star
away
Rail.
from after Honkai Third Impact. Like they still do it and it's still
Yeah,
there and the team is still dedicated to making the game the way they want to, but they've
yeah.
really branched out with like their engine and their
Mhm,
like
mhm.
world, because I think Honkai also still has really good world building. Like their world actually
Yeah,
they
it's
started
cool,
to
it's
make it
cool.
interesting in the later chapters. But
Mhm.
like Genshin has that from the beginning, and they clearly made it more appealing to everybody and not like a specific because Honkai Third's audience is pretty specific. um, and I think that Genshin is a little more
Yeah, it's a little bit more
Genshin's a little
open,
more
yeah.
open. Also Zenless Zone Zero, Honkai Star Rail, also the same thing. They kind of take this direction of like they want to take this genre, make it their own, and they make it open and accessible to everybody. I like think all the games are going to be playable on mobile as well as PC and maybe consoles, so that's also really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll
Zenless
see.
Zone actually also pisses me off. I don't want anything to do with that
Wait, what
because I
does?
remember seeing some of the
Oh,
Zenless
Zenless.
Zone Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's like I remember just like looking through like videos of just the menu stuff for
Mm-hmm.
the characters, and just the way that they animated Nicole is like an instant no for me.
Oh, I don't
With
know who
all
that
of her
is.
like, oh, it's like one of the, I think one of the very first characters you get, but basically when you go into the menu, it like kind of takes, it like looks at the character from different angles as you go through the menu parts, right?
I
So
see.
it's like, I think you know where
There's
I'm
like
getting at,
there's like
where they're going with a female
sus angles
character.
and stuff.
Yeah, and the way that they made everything jiggle, and the way she like put her hands together to like squish her bits
I
and
see.
make them
Okay.
jiggle more. And plus coupled with the fact that like, okay, so all of the female characters, whether they're human or not, are extremely humanoid and like still have regular human woman features,
Right.
right? Like human faces, human titties, like all of that that is being like shown off.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas the male characters of Zenless Zone are all like not human and obviously not looking like that either.
Right.
So it's like a little
It's
bit
it's like
weird
it's
to
kind of
me
half
why
half.
those
Then they
choices are
like
being made.
they like
Yeah.
have the Honkai. They're still trying to appeal to the Honkai people, but they're trying to like add in an extra
Yeah.
layer. Okay, I see how it is.
Yeah,
Well,
so like the female characters are like obviously kind of fetish designs. Like there's
right.
like the maid girl, then there's also the cat girl whose like burst animation literally has her shaking her butt like a cat
Oh,
starting to
okay.
pounce, which is like so uncomfortable to see on a human looking being.
Well,
But then like yeah, the
I
male
all
characters
I
are
know
like
about
they
that
don't even have
game
human faces.
is like that the combat is it's about combat, like that there's like
Yeah,
a
the
thing about
combat
it.
looks so
So
cool.
I can't really form an opinion until the game comes out. I know there was a lot of feedback on the game for a lot of its menus and navigation and general gameplay.
Mhm.
So and the game is still like a while away, I think, from release. Like I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
Honkai comes out next month. Like I'm in the closed beta right now.
Hmm.
And it's
Yeah, Star
very
Rail is
close
like
to
end of
completion.
April or something.
Yeah, it's like next
Yeah,
month. So,
yeah.
I've
I was
already
really
I've
hyped for
stopped
Zenless
playing the
Zone when I
beta.
first saw it.
What happened?
Hmm. Oh, I was really hyped for Zenless Zone when I first saw it because it's just kind of like, oh, the combat looks really cool. It's like a dungeon crawler
Right.
almost, like with like randomized rooms and whatever. It looks super, super cool. And then I saw the character designs and the way the female characters are treated, and I'm like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh no. Okay. Well,
Not
if
this,
anything,
please.
Honkai is definitely not like that because I've been playing it, and
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
very very cool. The things are cool, but I think
Hmm.
that not everybody is going to be able to go to that game as easily from Genshin because it's so different genre wise. Like it's turn
Hmm.
based.
Yeah,
There's a
that
lot.
sounds really
There's
cool. I'm
there's a
looking forward
lot
to
of
that.
lore
Yeah.
though. I'm really excited to like. Man, I was
Hmm.
thinking like, man,
Hmm.
maybe I should just start a second podcast for the for Honkai Star Rail lore.
Just for
Um,
Star Rail.
yeah, but it's
And
so
also
it's so
Welk is
cool.
there. Oh my god,
Yeah,
so
Welk is
handsome.
there, and they have like these like really cool. There's like characters that are like looks like kind of mixed designs of like characters from Genshin, and like really interesting for
Hmm.
people to
Hmm.
to see them.
Yeah,
Anyway, this is
and
this is this is a podcast
I really
about
liked
Genshin.
Bronya. So yeah, no, it is what it is.
Yeah, I
I
know.
really liked Bronya in Honkai, so I'm looking forward to seeing her there
Oh,
too
she's
because I thought
so
she was
cool.
very cool.
Yeah, she's like older
Yeah.
and stuff. I really like it. Um,
Yeah, it's like the older design. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
Bronya has
she has
my
a
heart.
sniper rifle too. But
Hmm.
but yeah, so yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up our podcast topics for today. We kind of went to a super tangent there at the end, but it's all connected, right? Because they're all by
Hmm.
Hoyoverse, and most likely they will be marketing a lot of these games to the Genshin player base, so it helps to be
Yeah,
informed
yeah,
to
for
some
sure, for
degree.
sure.
So yeah,
Hmm.
um, I'll allow it.
It is probably their biggest money maker, I would say.
Oh yeah, 100%.
For as long as Honkai has been out, I just don't think that they've made the same numbers that Genshin has. It's just like
No.
too, I guess it's too all encompassing in terms of like genre and gameplay.
Yeah, I think Honkai is it's like the niche kind of game. So like there are people who wail on the game and that support it, and that's what has kept it afloat. And thankfully, possibly that might be why
Yeah.
Genshin even was made in the first place. But
Yeah,
um
maybe, maybe.
but
But
like
yeah,
yeah.
Honkai's a little bit sad. I don't think the player base is very large. Just like because when I
No,
did play
no,
it, there's like
yeah.
co-op sections that you need to do. Like
Mhm.
literally for hours, you could just not find anybody to co-op with because just nobody's playing the game.
Right. So I
So
well
it's a
actually
little
I
bit
play on the Asia
sad, I
server, so
guess.
maybe that's why I never had a problem with that. But maybe in America it might be like that.
Yeah, yeah, no, there's
Yeah.
definitely different servers, different issues, but like yeah, for at least the English side, it's a little bit. Eh.
Yeah. Okay, so great. Well, thanks for joining us today in
Of
our
course.
little
Ah.
discussion. I'm glad we could hear you gush about Scaramouche. You could
Oh my
talk about
god, I
some of the
got to
things
give
you
up
hate.
Kara
We can
again.
talk about some of the things you want to see, and
Mhm.
um just like our hopes and dreams about Genshin in general. So, thanks for
Mhm.
joining us, and thank you everybody for watching if you've come this far. Thank you once again. This
Thank you
is
all for
the
hanging out.
One More Cup
Good
of
luck on
Coffee
your
podcast.
Scaramouche pulls. I bless you.
You've been blessed by Owlet, by Alpasia, by Al Hytham, and hopefully you
The
shall be
Pope of the
lucky.
Church of Scaramouche.
The Pope of the Church of Scaramouche. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior Scaramouche?
Oh,
um,
you haven't? Die.
oh, you haven't? Die, vermin.
Get stepped on.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, have a great rest of your day, and we will see
Mhm.
you all
Thank you so
at the
much
next
for
one.
having me. It's been
Thanks,
good.
Outlet.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.